Frau Enkel, allow me to introduce you to the culmination of our engineering, Götterfaust. Two guns operated independently for optimal firing rhythm, high output, high endurance, or for unleashing a salvo. Absolute and final. Armored for frontline combat with mobility that defies its mass.
Beautiful. I want to see it kill.
Fine. Watch. Control, this is Blastowitz. I've got their toy. Now tell me where to drive it.
Route southeast. Friendly pickup waiting at the shore.
Wait! Enemy armor inbound from the west.
You build it, I break it.
William, be careful. More tanks incoming.
Let's see what you got, sweetheart.
William, come in. William, please, answer me.
They want a monster? Let's give them a nightmare.
That was just one battle. If you want to keep that tank, you'll have to fight through the rest.
World of Tanks delivers immersive tank action, and sound plays a crucial role in making every battle feel real. What better way to recreate the sounds of World War II tanks than by capturing them at the legendary Tank Museum in Dorset, a place where history and technology meet. Join the World of Tanks audio team as they visit the museum to record the sounds of some truly unique tanks. Today's focus is the Leopard 1 tank, a powerful machine with a distinctive audio profile. Every recorded sound will help reconstruct the dynamic and reactive audio players will experience in-game. So we're here back down at the Tank Museum in Bovington in Dorset to do some audio recording, and we're joined today by the head of the team, Alexei. Now, Alexei, tell us all about the audio recording, the importance of it for the game.
Yeah, audio is very important for the game because we have just ears and eyes. So eyes is what we see in the game and ears what we hear. So it's 50% of experience for the player. So today we're recording Leopard tank. We're recording all the external sounds and internal sounds in movement, in idle state, and we will use these recordings to implement it in World of Tanks game to provide the best experience for our players.
Fantastic. And perhaps you could give us a more of a detailed description about some of the equipment you're using here?
Yeah, of course. So we mount like 6 microphones on these booms all over the tank. Our focus is, of course, engine and threads and turret movements. After that, we will mix it all together in the game. It will be interactive system which will works and reacts on the input of the player to provide like feeling that you are driving a real tank in our game.
Capturing the true essence of tank warfare isn't just about visuals. It's about bringing the roar of engines, the clank of tracks, and the deep echoes of the battlefield straight to the player's ears.
So Today, one of our additional goals to get sounds from this really incredible place in Bovington Tank Museum is to get noises of this internal garage where the magic happens and people restore these heavy, big, legendary tanks and machines. So we put our microphones over here to get ambisonic recordings of this garage to recreate this iconic atmosphere in our game. So we will provide this binaural audio experience for the players, and I hope you will feel the same as we do now when we are here in Bovington Tank Museum.
As the team moves deeper into the museum, they set their sights on another legend, the Chieftain, a tank that has truly earned its place in military history. So we're here now in the workshops of the Tank Museum, and today we're looking at the Chieftain, the Cold War icon that is the Chieftain. Now, for the audio team, Alexei, what's the difference then you're doing today that you did on the Leopard?
Yeah, first of all, you're right. It's a real legend. We're very happy and proud to be here and record this tank. Basically, our focus with Chieftain today is to record its movement, its turning around, going forward, backward, acceleration, deceleration, and all the stuff from the engine and the threads. Also, we will try to make recordings of internal sounds, of reflections inside the turrets, and hope we will do it not only with Chieftain but with some other vehicles we have here in this incredible space. One more focus of our audio recording session is to record internal sounds of the tanks. One technique which is quite modern is to record impulse responses of sonic waves inside the turret. So we are taking a balloon, pop it inside the turret and record the reflections. This is a way how we will get a real atmosphere of the turret, and we can use it in our game and implement it as it sounds for players as they're inside the tank.
From the roar of engines to the subtle acoustics of a tank's interior, every sound recorded here at the Tank Museum will help create a more immersive and realistic battlefield experience for World of Tanks players.
We are on the track and recording legendary Chieftain tank to get all its movement sounds to use it in our game.
With hours of high-quality recordings, the team leaves the Tank Museum with the raw material needed to bring these armoured beasts to life in the World of Tanks. The next time you hear the engine of your favourite tank roaring to life, know that it all started here.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
The Onslaught Legends series Season 4 is here. But Liberty finds Jockey, and Cat's Eye, the last one for his team, will not be able to pull the 1v3.
The Onslaught Legends series champions will be Cashback.
They do complete the Cinderella story.
Finds Akka and it's Twilight and Liberty left wondering because it's not going to be the Ukrainian team of Cashback. It's going to be W from the pits of hell coming through the lower bracket.
Akka blows up as well, and W completed 6-3 2 times in a row. OLS champion. I think Mafia are on victory street here on Himelsdorf. They completely rewrite the map and rewrite all of the scripts that everyone had. It's going to be them taking the finals in a 5-1 fashion.
Tune in to the action, September 30th through November 9th.
Hello, Onslaught gamers. It is my pleasure to welcome you to yet another season of the AMD Onslaught Legends series. I'm being joined by Daki. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, yeah. Looking forward to another action-packed season filled with absolutely tremendous games and maybe even a triple for W potentially.
We'll see. Until we are going to crown a champion, there are going to be a lot of stream days, of play days. Today, of course, is the 30th of September 2025, and we'll be done on the 9th of October. So, yeah, that's going to be quite a few streams. We'll have a small mid-season break as well in between phases 1 and 2. But yeah, up until then, every single stream is going to have drops as well. Those should have started now, or rather 13 minutes ago. So if you haven't yet, please do refresh the stream to start claiming the drops, because there will be quite a few things available, including a tier 8 premium tank, the Lancensee, if I'm not wrong. That being said, first of all, let's talk about prize pool, because like every OLS season, that one is gonna get boosted by you, dear viewers. Wargaming put in an initial 20,000 into the pot, and since we started selling the bundles, there have been, 18,500 euros almost. And those are, of course, going to go directly towards the teams. There is basically a percentage calculation. That's why maybe some of the prizes don't look, you know, so nice, so round. But more money is, of course, always better, together with gold and bonds. But that is not all. Our sponsor, AMD, has also pitched in. And the first and the second team both are going to get a AMD Radeon RX 9070 XT. Pretty nice GPU, if I say so myself. Thank you very much towards them.
Yeah, thanks to AMD for sponsoring. And W is the team, you know, that are currently rocking the most AMD gear. Maybe they need to send some stickers as well that they can put them on their computers. But these are some bonus prizes. Yeah, it's really interesting to see how the teams are going to match up against each other this season, especially since, normally speaking, when we look at the list of teams we have available for you. But first up, let's talk about the Dropski hand. Not only do we have tokens which you can spend in the dedicated Onslaught Legends series token store, we also have a few rentals for you. The Object 277 and the Minotauro, which you can collect.
Exactly, and don't forget to visit the website as well, as there in the token store article there should be another claimable Onslaught rental as well. That being said, token earnings. Here you see it in front of you. Every stream basically is going to have 5 tokens. So every stream basically is worth the same, except for, of course, finals on the last weekends. The last 2 streams there, we're going to knock it up a bunch, but for now, 5 tokens in each stream, so you better come back for all the days.
Yeah, and the token store has some tremendous rewards in it, actually, Keyhand, as well. Does this one look 100% correct?
Those might be the ones from last season.
I think so,
I'm pretty sure
it's a
on
Lance
that
and C this season.
It is a Lance and C, so we'll check. But the good news is there are a lot of streams upcoming, so
do not worry. I can go over it very quickly. I have the article open on the site, anyways, Keyhand. So what we have this season is the Lance and C, and then we have that tier 7 TD. I think it's called the Steuer WT, right?
The Steuerwaffen.
Yeah, the T3485M, the Object 140 3D style. I don't remember what this 2D style is called anymore. Premium days, consumables, and reserves to go over it.
Should be something for everyone. Talking about something for everyone, every team is going to play today, and they're going to make their first appearance in the OLS Season 4. We're going to start off with quite a matchup. Mafia, the ones that are going to China as first seed, are going to be meeting Cashback, the past Ukrainian giants that did win OLS Season 1, but since then weren't able to repeat that and have looked quite shaky.
And have lost an important member as well, Keyhand, to be honest. A big part of their team, Barbarian, was in there. He no longer is with them anymore. But this Mafia team, not really changing anything. They are looking to continue the good form out of that OLC win. And what I wanted to say earlier is I think this season, on paper, the teams are the closest to each other they have ever been, normally speaking.
Yeah, Cashback also going with their tradition of not having a full roster, only 8 players on their lineup, but of course all of them have made appearances in the past. People to look out for, of course, Liberty. He's a virtuous light tank player, probably the best one on the European server, although I think the other light tank players from other teams have looked at what he's doing and they're trying to copy or even expand upon that.
Yeah, he was extremely potent, but at the same time, Cashback has played a lot without light tanks as well last season, so that is something to watch out for. And of course it's watching out for as well maybe a few different tanks appearing in the meta, Keyhand. Type 5 Heavy has gotten a quite substantial buff. It is a super heavy that we might see, and if you've played some random Onslaught, Object 140 could be making its appearance as well, which is a tremendous thing to say in 2025, that the Object 140 might be making an appearance, simply because of that,
finally,
that DPM in combination with the Inspire ability make it a very potent tank, on top of course having relatively good gun depression as well for a Russian medium, which was buffed a long time ago already at this point. Pretty comfortable actually for one of those mediums.
Community predictions, we are seeing Mafia in front 72% to 28% for Cashback. Feels kind of crazy to see something like this now, although, thinking back about the Onslaught Legends Cup, where Mafia took the victory, I think not entirely unwarranted. And now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of it all. Mafia against Cashback. So Siegfried Lion, the new addition to the map pool, immediately getting banned out. Cashback responding with the Himelsdorf ban. That means we're going to start on Ghost Town, a map that normally Cashback was very known for.
Yes, indeed. And if that's not good enough, Sun River will be following up, of course, to explain to the new people that haven't been here before, if it's your first time tuning in. This is stage 1 of the OLS, which means that all the teams will play each other in a best of 5 format. So in a best of 5, anything can happen. That's why these matches are highly unpredictable as well, because you lose one map, you're facing match point before you know it. This is the place where most of the upsets normally will happen, so keep your eye out for that. In this case, neither team beating each other would really be an upset, but maybe in one of the later matches.
Yeah, we'll see. Moravanka would be the tiebreaker, so we are not going to see the new addition to the map pool in this first match, but little spoiler there, later today we are definitely going to get a couple rounds on it. But yeah, with all of this being said and done now, you talked about it, the meta might change a little bit compared to the OLC number 4 that we recently had, together with all the rebalancing that came during 2.0. You talked about it, Type 5 getting huge buff, 140 getting a lot of love, actually. Love to see it too. I really like my 140. I still have my purple equipment on it from back in the day. But yeah, other than that, tanks to look out for. Maybe Concept 5. Do you think it has the advantage with the alpha buff that I got?
It's too big. For this kind of format, it's too big. It's an incredible tank now, the Concept 5, to be honest. It's very, very nice, but its size really holds it back. And on top of that, you know, it's contesting a Leo. So in terms of mobility, yeah, the Concept is fast, but pure maneuverability, the Leo far more nimble for that kind of gameplay, right? On top of being more low profile, doesn't stick out that much. So sadly, the Concept 5 I don't think we'll be seeing, but we did talk about it. The Type 5 Heavy and the Object 140 present in this battle. Mafia, the 140, the E50M, the Type 5 Heavy, the double IS-7, and the double BZ-75.
And for Cashback, it's going to be the double Type 5, the Batchat, the double E50M, and double light tank EBR RHM combo, while Mafia have 0. So it looks like Mafia really want to go for the brawl here, while Cashback are going to try to stall out with the Type 5s, who are going to be the anchor tanks. Let's see, the double BZ and the IS-7 immediately beelining it to the cap for Mafia, as Akka is trying to make a round on the outside with the EBR, but no, so far not really seeing a whole lot. Finally, the tanks get spotted, but they're already in the cap.
They start in the triple cap pressure here, and of course Brainbreaker and Twilight are on their way in those big old Japanese heavies, but they will take a while to get there. No strike available in the east, the strike in the west will be taken on time as well, just about by little. I think it's going to be close though. He needs to collect it, and then takes another few seconds to put it, but I think Brainbreaker will be the emergency decapper, but this is going to hurt. Aka's coming in as well with the EBR. They're not confident that Little will have it. Akka does though with the EBR. Good reset there. Brainbreaker not forced to commit, but in a tough position nonetheless in that Type 5. You can see it's not comfortable because it's getting shot from behind as well, and he is slowly but surely gonna die against these angles from Mafia. He decides to take it to the face and start backing off, but Conrad will say hello before that. Twilight smartly pulling forward as well. Team play coming out, and here comes Mafia in with her, and Barkis, Rexar, and Yosek now pressing the W key. A lot of damage being taken, and this big old Japanese heavy meat will try to stand its ground for a while as Kono gets singled out by the two medium tanks from Cashback. He's down, but Brainbreaker surely to follow. But you can still see though, these Type 5 heavies with that 3000 plus HP pool, they take a while to die. To go through that is not the easiest thing in the world, and Twilight still tanking. He will fall, but that takes a very, very long time. But the result remains the same. 5 on 5, but Mafia in the HP advantage.
Yeah, and Profuse now here trying to fight off against two tanks of his own. Just took a little bit from the clip off the Batchat, but now Mindbreaker does not have the ability active, is still looking for shots into the 140. Akka with the EBR even helping here. Profuse missing or bouncing a shot against Mindbreaker, who doesn't see little with the Batchat driving away, and he is going to die.
Profuse missing 2 shots there. And you see this HP difference. It's really important to pay attention this season to the HP difference and how relevant it is, because Orchek has 4,200 HP in that Type 5 heavy. Okay, so Mafia is up to K, but you know, look at that big Japanese heavy in the middle of the cap.
Exactly, they're now starting to triple cap again, but I think Little should be able to get the strike just about in time. Remember, there was another strike that also connected for 1200. That is a huge chunk of damage. Conrad here now getting spotted out, possibly by Akka, but now the cap very, very low. Little wasn't able to get it, actually. He got reset, so Vladislav now needs to come in and does the HE reset, but it's only 10 seconds still remaining, so maybe he'll have to do another one. Not sure if Little will be able to reset. The strike, I think, did get used by Little, and 15 seconds on the cap should confirm it. Double strike only. I don't think Yuzek got tagged.
No, Yuzek, they're dodging that strike altogether, and now they're playing for that eastern strike, but that one still has quite a while to come off. Little closing the distance, may want to take the strike under, but that would be a moment for the boys of Mafia to get out of that cap and go for the push. Aka, Peek, and Conrad, Mindbreaker as well from the angle. They're not getting the connections they need right now, but Aka with that EBR not fluffing his. Brainbreaker now pushing in as well, but the DPM missing the second one. That's 2 shots in a row. The Mindbreaker there not connecting. They're still the T-cap, but that's 3 tanks from the side of Cashback that are surrounding this cap. Little peeking from another angle as well. These heavies in the cap from Mafia are not able to find the connection they need, but all this time the HP is still in favor of Mafia. This cap play, they're trying to make it happen, but Mindbreaker, even with missing some shots, is able to close out Conrad, and now Orchek, Yuzek, and Rexar really stuck like fish in a barrel between the two. They gotta go somewhere, they gotta push off something, because right now those small little calibers from Cashback are starting to pick them apart, but the HP is still really, really bad for Cashback at this moment in time, and Vladislav surely is gonna fall as well in his E50M, as Orchek gives one. Rexar coming off a reload soon. Vladislav will do one more. Rexar picks it up, but now still 4 on 3. Mafia yet with a lot more HP, but the problem remains the same. Orchek has 4,000 of it.
Exactly, and that Type 5 Heavy, yes, it can stay in the cap, but it's not really going to do much good in there. Now, Mafia trying to maybe find a little bit of an opening by at least equalizing the kills here, because right now, because of draw rules, it would be Cashback winning, even though they're losing so much when it comes to the HP department, but they do have a tank more, even though 3 of their tanks are barely hanging on. Aka, the only one with HP, but obviously no armor at all on that EBR, as 2 tanks on the cap get spotted here, and Cashback do have a strike available on Mindbreaker, I do believe, but there is no one in 1 strike range. Orchek just took a shot as well, so Cashback really trying to pepper away at those HP, but yeah, right now they need to stop the cap. The strike goes down, double strike even. It looks like Yuzek taking another shot, and that is problematic. He's down to 115. That is 1 shot, that is 1 strike. But both strikes have been used, I believe.
I think they were in problems in either way, and for Orchek this is such a frustrating, annoying battle, because you're just driving around with your Type 5 and you may be shooting from time to time, but you really feel like you want to do something, but you can't do anything. And now Little will take the strike as well next to the cap, forcing Mafia to push off. He's actually waiting. They have the angles covered though if they push off from the cap, and Mafia was always slowly going to die. They needed to catch something here to make this work, and now you can see Mindbreaker North, Aka, no, Liberty actually South, watching the cap in case they try to push off. The strike will come in immediately, and I think Yuzek trying to boost out of it. Wow, there we go. Liberty actually picks it up, and that's why they're holding those angles as well. I think Yuzek would even just about have made it out of the cap with that boost, so good from Cashback to find that. Little missing a shot against Rexar, but still, Loki, yeah, they're double the HP, but they're down a gun, and they cannot catch a gun.
Exactly, and also Rexar very low in his BZ-75. Just as I say this, he takes another strike to the face, so is not going to heal back up to anything meaningful. Orchek there with a futile attempt against the EBR of Aka, trying to chase it, and Mindbreaker is going to pick it up. Rexar falls, leaving, well, Orchek in an HP advantage situation, but that's about just about everything that he has. This game is absolutely unwinnable.
It's you know, like I said, for Orchek, this is the worst kind of game. Nobody shoots you the whole game. As a Type 5 heavy player, it's like, what do you do, Kihan? It's like, it's honestly frustrating though, because you want to do something, but you can't. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna drive out an E50M? He's all the way gone. You're gonna catch the EBR, the RHM? No, you're not. You're not gonna do any of those things. So that's one of the difficulties with the tank, of course, but it's the same for a mouse or any of those super heavies. You want to get them engaged early on. You actually want to be one of the first people to die, not one of the last, because endgame scenarios are not your strength, right?
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. But obviously, Orchek, he's now trying to, you know, find anything here. Blind shots in towards a lot of the bushes or caps where people could be taking neutral objectives. But all in all, I mean, good job by Cashback here. They just managed to stall out this very, very meaty, beefy lineup of Mafia, they managed to convert into kills where it matters. I don't think like the 140 was really able to have too much of an impact here for the team of Mafia as well. So all in all, well done by Cashback. There were a couple of clutch and close moments, but I guess they invested the HP when they needed to in the Type 5s, and it was kind of crazy to see how long those Type 5s were actually staying alive for.
It's comparable to trying to kill a Tash and Ratek again, honestly. It's the same story, like, because it also has 4000 HP. You can kill it, but it takes a while. You're just limited by how much damage you can do. So in those there's going to be some games where the Type 5 just look like it just lives forever and ever and ever because of that super high HP pool, and you're also not going to spend 100% of your shots against it. He turns a little bit, you miss a little bit, all things possible. Orchek's making his last march across the field though in the Kaiju.
I mean, he might catch Mindbreaker here if he doesn't die before, but yeah, shots are starting to hail in, and here we go. He's not going to complete it. 30 seconds left in this game, but it was decided quite a while ago. Cashback are going to claim the first round of the AMD OLS Season 4.
Really solid performance from them, you could say. It was... At times it looked a little bit like they were in some slight amount of danger, but the name of the game in a situation like this of Ghost Hunt is always number of tanks. And there they always were up 1 or 2. So the biggest danger there was getting capped out. And that's why we saw Brainbreaker in the beginning as well, because I think Little would have gotten the strike on time, or Aka would have reset on time. However, you don't want to gamble. So the fact that he pushed forward to make sure they reset is completely acceptable, even though he lost a lot of HP for it. Because otherwise, Keyhand, you end up with the kind of battle where you're like, oh no, they got capped out. Why didn't Brainbreaker reset?
Exactly. Now, post-game battle results. I mean, Little is going to have 7.5k DPG 4 now in this season.
3k with strikes.
But yeah, 2k with strikes is obviously a lot as well. But I think overall, the DPGs compared to last season might go up a little, just because of the Type 5 buff.
If there's a lot of Type 5s played, you're going to see a lot of damage. It's especially because now if we look at Mafia's lineup, it's 5 heavies and 2 mediums. BZs are super healthy, and Type 5 is also super healthy. And then if you look at Cashback's lineup, double Type, yeah, it's 4,200 HP per Type. So but they didn't trade that badly either on the Types. They did 2k each when getting pushed and dying. I think you need about 2.8 to roughly trade out average HP to 2.8 or 3k to trade 1 for 1 in terms of HP. So for the fact that they got pushed by the whole Mafia team and that Twilight even had to shield Brainbreaker, not that bad. Because in a different world, one of the Type 5s is on the run while the other one is dying. It's like waving him goodbye, like, see you, Brainbreaker, and trying to survive longer. But now, Twilight tries to keep Brainbreaker alive for as long as possible, and as a result, dies as well. In a different world, you could say that maybe the ideal play from Twilight would have been to completely sacrifice Brainbreaker even and just let him die. But that's,
I mean, it's tit for tat, right? At the end of the day, it didn't really change a whole lot, but it was quite surprising for how long the Type 5 stayed alive. And by the way, I just checked again. Aka in the EBR had 5.7k damage, and out of those, only 1.2 were from strikes. So he actually did 4.5k just because the game was so long, and he was hitting his shots so well. We saw him penetrating the sides of IS-7s, for example, in an EBR. I think no, it's not that easy. So good job for him. But now Mafia, it seems like they're completely switching it up. That looks more like a Season 3 lineup that we are, used to. Double BZ-75 Centurion as the Inspire tank, triple E50M, and an RHM.
It's not going to be that easy to shoot through the Cashback lineup, though, because it's a 277 triple Type 5 heavy, double E50M, and a 140. Now, if there's a lineup, Kihan, that I think can deal really well with what Mafia is bringing, it's Cashback's lineup. If there's a fight breaking out in the first 2 minutes of the game, double E50 is not going to kill triple Type 5 heavy. At least not very.
No, I
not
mean
quickly.
the E50M also got buffed, but like it didn't get buffed as much as the Type 5. So yeah, let's see. Little first of all in the 277 is booking it in towards the middle of the map, maybe looking for the cap, but he does see the double BZ coming his way, so he's not going to continue through with it. As we see Brainbreaker in the 140 getting spotted, taking a big one, and that might be a problem, because maybe that was a plane spot enabling Profuse to get it back. No, Profuse, no plane available, but they're taking a lot of map control, the team in white, Mafia that is.
Yeah, Mafia not going for the straight fight whatsoever, which is good because we see the lineup from Cashback and we know what would happen. However, Cashback, I think realizing this now, is going to transition themselves into a potential cap play. Little cannot sit there with the 277. Aka and Vladislav trying to get some shots back on towards the 2 line. They will be spotted out by the plane. How much damage received for this crossing? Type 5 heavy side, not quite that strong as that frontal armor. But only one shot on Vladislav. It's a pretty cheap crossing, and Mafia needs to be really careful on this 1-2 line though, Kihan, because they may not be suspecting what Mindbreaker and Liberty are there, and Marcus and Conrad are in a lot of trouble right now, like really a lot of trouble, because those E50Ms are shooting from behind. They're in a passive position, a deep position. Aka and Vladislav realize this as well, that it's time to crunch onto the BZ-75s who are trying to get out, and Conrad will not be getting out. He is surrounded from the back lines, and Mafia now pushing with their own E50Ms on 1-2 line, but there is still the 140 covering as well. Mindbreaker and Liberty now backing off, the strike coming in as well. Mafia realize they're going to do something here. Profuse still quite a while away in that light tank. Yuzek backing off in the Type 5, but HP and tank advantage generated right now for the side of Cashback, but Liberty in trouble himself in that E50M. He's trying to focus out Rexar, trying to get towards the outside even to extend his life. Can he get Rexar out? That would be huge if Liberty could find the kill. He's looking for it as well. Can he get it? No, he cannot. He explodes, but Kono taking a lot in return. Now though, Mafia up a gun, but still need to deal with the cap, and they've used the strikes.
They've indeed used the strikes. Now Twilight, he entered the cap at the latest, so it's going to be him that needs to block Barkis. Barkis wants to peek, takes 3 shots by the Type 5s. That is a huge chunk of damage. In the meanwhile, though, Orzhek trying from the back lines, takes one by Aka, tries to build a crossfire, takes 1200, make that 1500 to the face. The alpha damage of these Type 5s really hammering home.
Yeah, and that's the problem with using those strikes on those E50Ms. Yes, they had to kill them, but then afterwards you come to the realization, we don't have any strikes available anymore. How do we reset? Well, we don't, because the base gets captured and Cashback make it 2-0. On goes down, leaving Mafia wondering what just happened. You know, they didn't have the initial information, right, for the side of Mafia. They did not know those E50Ms were positioned in B1, C1, and by the time that they... Ooh, there was a reset, a last-second reset.
Yeah, there was a last-second reset. Not sure if Aka even drove out just so they would be able to pad their stats a little bit, but maybe a little bit too soon. Yuzek, though, dropping down to 500. Aka on the long reload. Yuzek should be able to get one more shot of damage, but there's actually an E50M hitting from the sidelines, but normally with this amount of HP, it should not.
I swear it said 100.
Yeah.
I thought it said 100.
Yeah, but you need like,
I know, but
additional second to complete
I thought
it.
for us, when it shows 100, it's really like done. I know you need like the additional, it's called the exclamation mark, you know, before it confirms, but doesn't change anything. It's the same problem. They may not have camp, but they wouldn't be able to stop it anyways.
Exactly, and this means that Cashback is actually going to go 2-0 on Mafia's map pick.
That's the thing. Like the plane was reworked for season 3 already, so last season I think it was reworked, and it has like a little delay in the beginning, right? What is it, 3 seconds, I think, something like this. Yeah, roughly 3 seconds, which means that if you reverse immediately, you dodge planes, or if you bank hard right or hard left, there's a good possibility you dodge as well. And they were missing the info on the Z50s, and to be honest, yeah, they need to push and kill them, but using the strike was maybe a little much. They really, like, it's such hindsight to say, but they needed the strike for the later decaps. Without the strike, they're driving into the triple Type 5.
Well, and after all of this is said and done, this time the damage distribution, at least in the team of Cashback, a little bit more balanced out. Also, I mean, it's kind of weird to see the 140 be alive at the end, but only with 2.2k damage. Normally, those Inspire mediums, you want to have them like in the fight, but not sharing HP, right? You want to bait basically both teams, but the enemy team just a little bit harder. I would have expected for the 140 to be able to farm more there, but at the end of the day, still Cashback with the happy end on Ghost Town. And we said it, best of 5, it's a very, very small, volatile matchup. So that means that Mafia already with their backs against the wall, if they want to get anything from today. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think with going to match point in phase 1, you already get a point secure, right?
Aren't you the tournament admin?
That would be Phil, not me. But yeah, first of all, Ghost Town done and dusted. But we don't stop with the dust here.
Cashback was very good on Sun River, though, last season.
Yeah.
Very good.
Good reaction.
I think they even set the meta in the beginning on how to play it.
Absolutely. I think Mafia, maybe they were unaware of the fact that you can still play double light in this meta on Ghost Town. But yeah, Cashback just exploited it to the max, really. And they drew it out as long as they could. A little bit of La Rata, but not really. I mean, they only had 2 light tanks. It's kind of normal. It was just that they focused out the correct tanks.
It was very normal for Ghost Town in a way. You know, Sun River was the map where I think we expected a lot more lights, but it ended up in the end of the season being like max really an EBR and or just 7 tanks, especially from West, which ended up being the preferred side, which is very interesting because it's very different from 15v15.
Yeah, let's see what today is going to bring, because while the Onslaught modifiers, of course, didn't change, the tanks did a lot. And indeed, once again, we see a 140 being brought. On the other side, we see the K91, but those tanks actually have different abilities. The K91 gets the Baby Strike, not the Inspire. Mafia coming out, though, with double BZ75, triple E50M, the 140, and the STRV.
Yeah, Cashback with the light tank, with the K91, E50, AX, yes, and maybe BC, a little bit of everything, can control the map as well. And talking about the modifiers, yeah, guys, at the end of the day, it is potentially a wise decision to wait to see how the tank buff and nerfs play out before you decide to change anything on any modifiers, right?
Absolutely, and I can tell you that was exactly the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, bait it out first, see what happens, and then make adjustments if needed. So, but look at Mafia in the middle of the map, very aggressive, very uncommon. Even BZs, any 50Ms driving there. The 50Ms backing off immediately. Yes, very aggressive from Cashback though. Spots out the 140 of Kono. Liberty taking some node control as well, and Cashback is doing a good job here at taking a decent amount of map control in the beginning. Profuse getting a shot there as well. Aka trading out against Kono, but Mafia needs to be careful not to over-rotate, because look at the K-line. Cashback is not giving it up, and of course Mafia does not have a light tank, Jan, so they don't have any initial info whatsoever, so they're still kind of guessing what is happening.
And the thing is, Liberty hit that shot on Profuse as well in the light tank, and that's going to be crucial, because he will be able to spot out the tanks that are sitting on the spawn, on the balcony in D2 for Mafia if push comes to shove. Kono also with the 140, I don't think he really wants to push here, because yes, the 140 can use Inspire, but in the 1v1 straight up against the E50M that is just improving its DPM, it's probably going to lose out, especially considering that Cashback also have an Inspire medium that basically can help from anywhere on the map.
For sure. And so far I would say Cashback doing a good job at taking map control, but Mafia are doing a bad job at trying to control the map themselves and taking back a large portion of it, especially that Nord control they lost in the beginning. Now with Conrad and Kono, the double K taking over the North altogether, they have maybe not a complete idea what tanks Cashback is using, but what side of the map they're on, yeah, they're pretty much aware now, and you can see Uzek backing off as well because of that. And both teams, honestly, at this moment in time, doing some pretty solid rotations. Across the map, Cashback taking south, Mafia taking back north. The question is, which one of the two ends up being more advantageous? Vladislav just going for it. Uzek, though, needs to be careful. I mean, that's a Mivy in the open versus an E50M. Misses on the first, misses on the second as well. Uzek now getting struck. Vladislav decides to not go for it, but Uzek giving him 3 for this little party, trying to make more shots happen. That's a good job there from Uzek, and Vladislav a bit over-eager. Little and Mindbreaker now joining, but Uzek already trading better than expected for holding this deep position. He needs to back off though at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, now he sees that he's playing against 2 and potentially more. Takes another shot of damage for doing 1 against Little. Now starts to take damage from the middle of the map as well. This is dire times for Yuzek that has overstayed his welcome here. Now trying to beeline it away from the enemies, but Vladislav says no and shuts it down. Cashback with the first kill of the game, and now even starting to break into the action in the middle of the map. The K91 trying to drop away from the 140, but drops into BZ75s. Needs to be very careful. Rexar doesn't mind it and takes another try against the K91. Connects the shot. Brainbreaker going down towards one shot. The 140 is going to clean it up, and all of a sudden we find ourselves in an all-out brawl.
The SRV from above has to have a huge game here for Mafia to really make a difference, and here comes Cashback pushing back in. Aka, Little, Mindbreaker all moving towards Kono. Mindbreaker needs to be really careful on the E50M. He's dropping low. He does make it around the corner, but he's on a one-shot. Kono backing off in that 140. The Inspire, we talk about it a lot. Very, very important. But Vladislav in that Mivi going out in the open himself, getting picked up, but Orchek from above. We said the SCRV needs to have a big game, and right now he's raining hell from above. And Kono, but a good adjustment as well in his 140, surviving. Twilight going down. Finally, Liberty shuts down the 140, but this repush from Cashback is met by fierce resistance from Mafia, who will not go down 3-0 in this one. They look to have control over this battle. However, 4v2, Liberty and Aka, if they can focus out the low HPs, who knows what's possible, but there's still a very healthy Profuse, very healthy Conrad as well. Might be a little bit too much for these players from Cashback to really get through. Aka doing a good job though there, playing around that E50N, but Profuse just too healthy for that CS63 to really have any moment of peace and quiet in which he can kill him. Rexar showing up as well, finds the kill. The strike will hit from Profuse onto Profuse, but Liberty getting chased down by Conrad. Mafia hold on for at least another round.
Exactly, no team able to win on their own map so far. And yeah, I mean, Liberty is just going to get DPM down by Conrad without the ability to do another shot of damage. But this means that Mafia, the OLC number 4 champions, are not going to get clean swept by Cashback.
They are not, and that's important. Small note to add, Mafia is still playing from, I think it's fair considered the better side on Sand River. So it is kind of expected for two teams of somewhat equal caliber, which Mafia, you know, they go into China, they won the last tournament, is definitely on even or above in the ratings for current Cashback, which, you know, needs to adjust to the new order of things without Barbarian, without their former captain Istead as well. So, you know, it's kind of expected. Now comes the proving point for them on the eastern side of Sand River to bring it back to a tiebreaker, show what they are made of. Because as much as you can, you know, be like, oh, it's the beginning of the season, you know, any points taken now is points you don't have to worry about later on.
Exactly, and I think it's fair to expect both of those teams to have a good shot to make it to Phase 2. So the thing there as well is that the points that you generate for yourself in Phase 1, they stay, they don't get wiped. So, well, you want to get as many as you can, as early as you can. Right now, that still seems easier for Cashback, just because they are on match point already after the opponent's map pick. But Mafia now, you know, on Cashback's map pick, starting to come back into the match. Cashback, so far, so good. They just need to confirm what we saw from them on Ghost Town. But, yeah, the first Sand River, it wasn't it, Coach.
No. They could have also had more HP, for example, on Vladislav, you know? There was no need for them. Like, even, like, I don't know if you can call it mistakes, but the first one was a mistake, pushing too early onto the 50M, and then he tried to kill the Object 140 right off Kono. Before that, he kind of sat there out in the open and just exploded.
Yeah.
Maybe it's great hold on, but it's absolutely horrendous outside of it.
I think the biggest problem there was that, you know, Yuzek, even though he died, he bought so much time and he sold himself okay-ish. I'm not going to say he sold himself well with 1600 damage.
The fact he got those 3 shots
okay-ish.
is already more than he really should have gotten for where he was. You know, like those 3 free shots on the Mivy. If they show up with 2 people, 3 people, he doesn't do those. He just dies.
Yep. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen in possibly the last round here of our first match of Season 4. As Mafia do bring what seems like a shootout lineup here. Double BZ75, an MVY, Centurion AX, and triple E50M.
In return, Cashback, 5 E50Ms, an UDES, and an STRV. You can say, Kihan, that those buffs to the E50 have 100% pushed it to a more competitive place. I'm trying to remember all the buffs that were given. I think it was aim time. It's mainly...
Which, to be honest, in Onslaught doesn't really matter.
But I think it was also
much.
half a second of reload.
Yeah. I mean, the DPM goes kind of hard now.
Before the 430U had, before the choice was, 430U had way better DPM than the E50M, but a worse gun. But now E50M, getting a bit closer. And the gun is just better, especially for these long-range maps.
Yeah, and you have the super fast APCR as well. That can be, very, very nice to play. So let's see what's going to happen, because all of those E50Ms, except for one that's staying and lingering in D2, E2, are being sent into the south of the map, where Mafia, though, are kind of waiting and set up. The question is, do they have enough firepower to stop quadruple E50M plus STRV as backup?
That is a good question, because these E50Ms are about to rock and roll. There's 4 tanks there for the side of Mafia, and there's 4 tanks here for the side of Cashback, but that's 4 times E50M. Here they come. Brainbreaker, the first one, needs to slow down a little bit. Wants to ram Kono actually for that added damage. Maybe a good choice, and boom! Into the Mivy. It goes, it takes one, it takes another. Definitely somebody's back getting broken there, and it's that first one. But here come more tanks from Mafia. The AX coming in now as well. The BZ from Conrad closing the distance. But you could ask the question, was that the play from Conrad? The position that he's in. Look at his HP. He's getting picked up as well. Aka smashing into Rexar. That's the BZ, though. It doesn't get rammed quite as hard as the Mivy. But Conrad falls, and Rexar now in a pretty bad position as well. This reaction from Mafia, this reinforcement, puts them in a very, very bad positioning. The AX alone would probably have been enough, but now even he's in a bad position, getting pushed back, and Mafia feel the sheer pain of this E50M DPM train. And if it doesn't get any better, there's an UDES with the Inspire and an STRV from Little with tremendous DPM as well. And it's looking tough, it's looking rough as Mafia come into Season 4 losing 3-1 to Cashback.
Absolutely, a statement victory here coming out from a Cashback to start things off. Absolutely stellar. There was no stopping on this train here by Cashback in the south of the map. I think the target selection was really, really well done. They also managed to keep their own low HPs alive. I think 2 one-shots there at the end still there. Meanwhile, they were able to ram and take out a lot of tanks. And the earlier the tanks die in the shootout, the less they're able to provide and, lend their own DPM to help the team. And the fact that Mafia were not able to answer those kills by Cashback just let it completely spiral out of control. And when you're playing against 5 E50Ms, an UDES, which, by the way, doesn't have bad DPM itself, and an STRV, you need to get killed.
It's mainly, the UDES Inspire on top of it as well. If you look at the lineup of Cashback, there's not a single low DPM tank there.
Yeah.
Not one. They're all the STRV is tremendous DPM. The E50s are tremendous DPM, only amplified further by this UDES, which by itself is already a good tank as well. And then you can see this lineup from Mafia. I mean, the BZs, the Mivy. The Mivy really struggles. It's not just for Cashback that the Mivy struggled. It struggles here for Mafia as well. When it gets pushed like this, the hull is horrible. The hull is
it's paper.
It's a disaster. So when it gets rammed by one of those E50Ms, you see what happens. It cannot deal with these quick engagements. Mivy needs time. It does not do well in a quick battle. And then you saw Mafia trying to reinforce, and honestly, those reinforcements put them into worse positions than they were before. Like that BZ on the outside of Conrad coming in to try and hold the K line gave Cashback another tank to pick up almost for free.
Yeah, although you could even argue that at that point in time, leave the BZ be, because it doesn't really contribute to the shootout. It has no DPM at all, focus on the other tanks, but I think either way, it works at that point in time, because, yeah, Cashback just had all of their DPM in the fight. Meanwhile, Mafia, that didn't have that much DPM to begin with, didn't have it all in the fight even. So great stuff from Cashback, and they take the first points of the season. But that is only the first match of the day. We're going to have 3 more. The second one is going to come right after the replays. The AMD Onslaught Legends series Season 4 has arrived.
And with it comes the chance to reward the players and yourself too. Boost the prize pool by purchasing team bundles. If the team you rooted for with a bundle wins, so do you by being able to upgrade the included style to a shiny golden version. Contribute now.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to the second matchup of the day. It's going to be W, the reigning champions, that are also going to China, just like Mafia. They're playing the new kid on the block. It's going to be Vortex.
Good challenge for Vortex and a good warm-up for W. They have in the past, Gihan W struggled a bit against teams that you would expect them not to struggle against. Maybe not taking it 100% serious. Maybe because their most important member, Jakefa, is on holiday again. Classic. Also, I don't know if you saw my comment, but Frugo and Snacks. Frugo is just a younger version of Snacks, the CS player.
Absolutely. I think Snacks has a little bit of a beard, but yeah, they look very much alike. Also, the 2 stars on the shirts that W made for themselves, they do stand for the 2 victories that W has managed to claim in the OLS, but they need to reprove themselves. Against Vortex might be possible.
Can we just say that Conquistador looks like the most French person from France? The only thing that's missing is like a bag, une baguette, you know?
A baguette, and then maybe an espresso, but he's got the signature look of superiority. He's got it so down.
I could see him sit at the cafe in Paris, you know, like just judging you silently as you walk past.
Yeah. All right, here we have a Squeezy from a W, and the serious face means he doesn't mess around. He has KD of 1.3, 3.2k average damage pen rate, 84%, so far so good. He's the Centurion Action X player, or was rather. Maybe that is going to switch around with the 140 resurgence that we're going to see in the community predictions. I mean, reigning champions against a team that just made it into OLS. 92 to 8%, it maybe sounds harsh, but I think Vortex, they do have their work cut out for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is for them. I mean, you don't want to say like it's lost already, but it's more like a test than anything else.
Well, let's see. Himelsdorf and Ghost Town getting banned out, but we are going to immediately start on Siegfried Line, the new map in the pool. That is going to be an interesting one. Also picked by W. Seems like they have trained a lot on this new edition. Maybe hoping to surprise some teams, but maybe not sure of some tactics and maybe trying to, feel it out against a team like Vortex, who respond with the Sand River pick, a map we just saw. And if we get to a tiebreaker, would be Pilsen, albeit it's not that likely, but then again, it's only best of 5.
Indeed, and in a best of 5, anything can happen, especially when we're playing Siegfried Line, and it will not be the last time we see it today either. I think we're playing it later on as well, once more, so we do get some playtime on the map. Predictions, though, yeah, we all expect a W win. It's just a matter of how do we expect them to win.
I mean, Moth actually with the balls to go for the 3-0 here.
It's this early in the season and he's already risking it.
We'll have to see. But yeah, every one of us also going with a pretty confident W win. For myself, I can say I just gave the 1 point to Vortex because, it's Onslaught. Anything can always happen. Maybe bad opening, maybe you just lose by default because the other team has a strategy that just beats yours. I think also a lot of it comes down to how much Vortex prepared on Siegfried Line. But yeah, W, reigning champions, starting off with double IS4 MVY Type 5 Heavy being played by Mr. Frugo himself. Then 140, an E4, and an RHM.
In return, Vortex triple BZ, an IS4, a 140, and double E4. BZ's key hand. I'm not the greatest fan of it on Siegfried Line, but I'm just a caster. What do you think?
I think the biggest annoyance that I have with them is, even though it's Onslaught, still the gun. It's iffy, and I think the heat pen on it is not too great either for a tier 10 heat gun. so we'll have to wait and see. Also, on the eastern part, there are a lot of fences, etc. Just as we see those triple BZ-75s actually boosting in towards the middle of the map, they're going to go for the cap, and full information is available for Vortex here. Let's see what they do with it.
Yeah, the BZ is going for the cap immediately. Eos and his Mivi even crossing over, and the BZs are just pushing out actually towards that 140. If they could catch that one player there, if they even know that he's in that position right now, they could find Squeezy. That would be huge. Instead, they're looking towards Mentos, who doesn't take anything but does give one in return. So that cap getting halted immediately, and now the BZ pushing across off of Miku, and he will run into Squeezy, but Squeezy needs to be really, really careful. They're in that 140. He's in a bush. They do not know about him, though. If he gets spotted at some point, it would be huge for Vortex, but since he isn't, he's just going to unleash from behind at some point.
I think right now he's doing the smart thing to not fire. The same cannot be said for Klurf, that in that RHM just took a huge amount of damage. Finally, the BZs call the push here. Now would be the point in time at which the 140 should actually open up, and I think that is just what he does. He still has the HP advantage against Adi in the 140, as well as Mentos tries to hold the front against those BZs. So far succeeding. Big shot by Frugo coming in as well. That is going to try and tank for his team. Nepal and Mentos trying to duck behind the BZs with the flanking maneuver, but are not really gonna have a big impact here. Mentos still getting healed up as well, doesn't have the ability available, but Miku dropping down towards one shot, falls to the grave. The double 140 fighting against each other, but Squeezy with the higher initial HP should take the victory here as well.
Yeah, it's for W pretty amazing. Squeezy, even with taking some damage, still wins the 1v1. Those BZs just kind of out in no man's land, and when they get repushed by a Type 5, an IS-4 and an E4, you can really see the struggle for that tank, to be honest. It's just a disaster for the BZ, that kind of engagement. It loses it every single time almost, because the gun, you talked about it, is just not good enough for those kind of engagement, especially not against tanks that can withstand and bounce a few shots of that BZ. But it has to shoot without being fully aimed. It's not going to be hitting. So an interesting attempt here by Vortex, but not more than that.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem in the Vortex lineup here was actually, dealing damage with the tanks that they were pushing with. Because what do? Like the E4, it's not an automatic pen by no means. Even at short range, you still need to go either for the lower plate or you need to flank it. The Type 5 frontally with the BZ heat, yeah, good luck. You need to go for the cupola. And, well, behind that is an IS-4, that's also not an auto pen.
The hatches on the Type will work as well. I think it's less than 50-50 for everything else. So, yeah, not great for them to shoot at. The IS-4 is actually even more annoying, to be honest, because at angle, they're not penning side plate, they're not penning upper plate, they're having to go for lower plate. I'm going to be honest, I didn't like the BZs.
No, and I also think about it this way. Even if you boost past any kind of tank that we just talked about, like E4 reducing the incoming damage, Type 5 or IS-4, you need 2 salvos or even more in the BZs to actually remove one of those tanks from the game that you're pushing onto, and in the meanwhile, you're fighting against tanks that are always going to pen you, and in the case of the IS-4, actually with pretty good DPM, and they also have different kinds of alpha damage, so they can even pick and choose who fires onto whom, which means they are going to have more effective DPM as they're wasting less on the one-shots. So the engagement that Vortex took here, I really wasn't a fan. The BZ, maybe not the tool this season, actually.
I mean, not the tool. It has its usage on maps like Cliff, I think, for example. Although even there, we could see the complete rise of the E50M. It's possible. We've had it in the past already. I wouldn't even be too surprised, if that was the case. But on this map, this close quarter combat on short range, where E4s really thrive, Type 5s thrive as well. You have a worse gun in the BZ, you have worse armor, you have worse HP, and if they end up in an actual fight against Type 5s and you play against greedy Type 5 players, the BZ has this one more downside. It's the sides are extremely weak, and the back is even worse. If at some point you end up engaging a Type 5 heavy and he loads HE, the alpha increase is significant on that gun. It goes from 700 to 1100 to HE. So you will find some greedy Type 5 players at some point. And the thing is, even if you don't connect with the Type 5, depending on what you hit, this HE overmatch thing is still a thing. So you're going to be hitting for like 500. So you're not really losing that much alpha.
Well, let's see if Vortex can recover from this first round here that we saw, because realistically that one was, never going to go their way. Also, I want to shout out to Squeezy in the 140. I think he stayed unspotted in that bush for exactly the right amount of time. He held his fire until he was sure that the BZs were actually going to engage the tanks that they didn't want to engage on too. And then he provided DPM, he provided Inspire, everything well done. He even 1v1'd the enemy 140. So good job by Squeezy.
Yeah, he still, he did a good job hiding and then still winning the 1v1 after. If you're Adi, that's kind of like demoralizing, but like we said, it's best of 5, anything could still happen. This was not the round for it. And the good thing is for Siegfried Lion, for W, is that Light's got a lot of info.
Yeah.
It's really hard to dodge a plane on this map with the slower-ish tanks, to be honest. You're always going to get pretty good info.
Well, let's see what's going to happen in round number 2. But I really think that W, they left a mark here. That was absolutely solid. Very, very well played by W as a team together here. So let's see if they can keep it up in this round number 2. W, ooh, that is a lot of penetration coming in by them so far. There is a 1 RHM triple E4, though a Hori as well. 140 once again being played by Squeezy, and a Type 5.
In return, Vortex, Tesak, double E4, 140, double T57, and a nice 4. Tesak also, something we haven't mentioned, a sleeper pick in a way. The buffs on that make that an annoying little thing, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the damage output is kind of the same still, but the exposure time has obviously gone down. And the Tesak, the only tank in the game currently that can really deny, for example, the info tower, because you can just spray and pray, and just, if you do it with HE on towards an enemy RHM, it can be very, very annoying. Tankistador here waiting behind his own spotting tower, is ready to deny, now starting to take his own one, spots out Nepal. Gets spotted out in return, though, takes a lot of damage, is down towards a one-shot, so it doesn't really work out for him. In return, though, W also taking damage on a less important tank, though, I'd say Mentor's down towards 1100.
Yeah, I don't think that Vortex ended up really winning this trade, to be honest. Like, sure, Mentos takes a lot of damage, Tankistador is going to die, maybe even to strikes at some point. It's a possibility because of his HP, so good trade for W. It's a W in their book. They also don't know. They don't know about the rest of the lineup. They don't know about the RHM at A1, who's just hiding.
Mm-hmm. And I think Nepal also with a smart decision here to hold the spotting tower for now, because they know how much damage they did on towards Tankistador, and this means as long as there is a spotting tower available for the team of W, the light of Tankistador needs to play extremely safely.
I mean, in return, Mentos will be hard to kill because they don't have a radio tower. They do have a plane, of course, but Tankistador can't blindly guess where Mentos is. If this is a slow game, though, I will say that Vortex has some advantage there if they can figure out where Mentos is at some point, simply because Tankistador is likely to dodge a strike, but in return, Mentos is not going to dodge anything.
I think if it goes towards a longer game, which seems to be happening right now, I like the tanks by W a little bit more for the city. Like the triple E4 plus the Type 5 Heavy is, I think, going to outtrade the T57s in the long run. But we'll have to wait and see. Flappy here is going to give the next strike to Lucan, probably, who goes there in the T57, starts picking it up. Plurf, I think he... no, the information tower just got used by Nepal. That's just because the next one is at the ready as well. No resets, though, on towards the strike by Lucan. So they get that one kind of for free.
Yeah, they're going to send their own Hori now towards the strike as well. So it's just a gearing up for war phase. Both teams are rearming themselves with those strikes. and we will be heading into the long game more likely than not. But still, that's not a guaranteed W win, and it's not a guaranteed Vortex win either. But the fact remains, Mentos is 3 strikeable, I think. 3.5 strikes. You know, he doesn't have ability.
It depends on ability.
He doesn't have ability, so.
Yeah, then it's 3 strikes and done. As Squeezy is going to start rotating in his 140. Drives a little bit more towards the field. The question is also, is W going to do anything with the fact that they have a lot of HP advantage on the light tank currently? Or are they not? Because I think right now there are opportunities and possibilities for the RHM of W to go on towards the field and generate a lot of information, a lot of angles possibly as well. I think the RHM's gun is not to be underestimated. And yeah, Attractive and Miku, both of them aiming in towards the street here, but I don't think Nepal is going to push as far as to take those 2 shots for free.
Now, we're going to, again, take another radio tower, and now it's going to be Ilias taking a strike. I don't know who wins this gun. I really don't. Ooh, Tankistador dies. They got him.
Tankistador, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how it was done, to be honest. But it seems to have been some strikes still, though. Now the bleed is going to start, and this is a huge problem for the team of Vortex, because not only are they now forced to make a move... Ah, yeah, okay, so he tried to make a move on the field, got spotted out. That looks like a lot of strike impacts, maybe barely got him. But yeah. This means Vortex needs to make the move, and they make a move, but they get absolutely clapped for it. Itox and Frugo do not miss those.
No, and already damage stacking up, down 3k now, down a gun as well, even though it's only a light tank. And Frugo and Itox are just going to hold the angle for the second wave of crossers. Attractive and Ilias still need to come as well. EOS in the meantime taking a strike already. Mentos has been pulled back to a very safe position, and if you're Vortex right now, this is not a happy place to be.
No, this is a hole that they've found themselves in now. And how do you dig yourself out of that one is the question. Mentos still kind of the weak link in that E4, but Squeezy there to cover. Maybe even meat shield if it comes to it. But yeah, right now Vortex now down 3,000 HP. Previously the HP were basically even, like 20 apart. But now 3,000 down. Pressure is on. Squeezy taking another info tower for essentially free. They still have a strike available on the Hori as well. So it's kind of going from bad to worse here for Vortex the longer the game goes.
They have to make a move. They don't have a choice. And I think right now they're just unsure about what move is the correct one. The RHM is kind of isolated by himself in A1, but they cannot know this, that he's still there by himself. So Klurf is just playing the long con game. I don't see a way in for Vortex. They have 3 strikes, it's 1200 damage. Attractive is coming to pick up another strike, but okay, 1600 damage. And then what? 60.
I mean,
okay, wait, okay. I have figured it out. I've figured it out. I know what they need to do.
What's that?
You're gonna love this play. So what you do, right, is you take the strikes, you sacrifice Adi on the information tower, yeah, and after that, like, you shield him with somebody, and then you use the 4 strikes to kill Mentos, and then you lose on damage dealt anyways.
That sounds absolutely stupid.
Yeah, but it's what's gonna happen though.
Well, let's see if Attractive, first of all, is going to pick up this strike here. It would be the 4th. That being said, though, Adi taking a slapping to the face here. He tried to get the information tower, so the first part of your plan is working out exactly how you said it would. Itox there, damage reduction active. Almost taking a mineral there from the ice for Attractive, taking a big one to the face from Nepal as well. Flappy not trading too well either. The Hori unable to connect though with the ability active. That's going to annoy him a little bit. But in the grand scheme of things, he's probably going to be happy regardless in his Hori. Ios, that is, because look at the HP, Ducky. From basically even to now 9,000 down.
Yeah, here come the strikes though on towards Frugo, and that was underwhelming. You know, the double strike.
Yeah.
I mean, I was almost right, no? Like I was not far off. I had the suicides on the info tower, and then you know, in my mind, he was able to get it though. You know, I think that's where I overestimated his ability to sit inside of it. Yeah, it all comes from that initial trade, like 8 minutes of spiraling out of control for Vortex, out of the initial trade, out of Conquistador being 500 HP and dying later on.
And so we find the favorites in this matchup in a very commanding position after their own map pick. It's going to be 2-0. It's going to be match point for the boys from W. And for Vortex, they better forget about what happened on Siegfried Line.
Yeah, this was not it for them. Neither of the rounds was really great, to be honest.
Well, I mean, it's good signs for W here, if you're a fan. Like, that was...
bad for my prediction.
I think... yeah, well, all of our predictions are still possible. That's, I guess, the positive takeaway here.
I mean, technically, yeah. Vortex could still win 3-2. Realistically, however, Kihan.
Yeah, realistically, it's probably not gonna happen. First of all, though, let's take a look at the post-battle results if any one of the W players was actually able to completely farm. To be honest, no.
Across the board, just pretty split. Nothing to stand out from anybody.
No, the problem was, of course, Conquistador right at the start, going directly into the trap that W had built. That one working out perfectly. Yes, Mentos took a lot of damage for it, but if you want to take damage on a tank, it's definitely not the light tank, and that was what Conquistador was playing. Now, however, that means we are going to leave behind Siegfried Line, and we are gonna go to Sand River. How many E50Ms is gonna be the question, because I think we're gonna see some.
I don't think we'll see too many from W. I feel like they'll probably just try to control the game more, expecting Vortex as the quote-unquote weaker team to try and make a quick and surprising move, potentially playing without lights.
Well, let's see. I mean, 1 light or even 2 lights are possible on Sand River, but if the past season is anything to go by, then we're going to see a lot of heavy tanks, but then again, you can counter that with E50Ms a lot better than you could before. So let's see what we're going to be up against. Vortex, of course, they would love to take points with them here today, but for that, they really need to start winning now, because the match point for W, it's not going to go away anymore.
No, but, I mean, Vortex can still do something here, nonetheless, which is what they need. I mean, it's tough to say, but for them, like, picking up a round would probably already be, you know, a success. Just to show that what they're capable of.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it also, like, later on in the phase 1, it is something that gives you respect with the other teams, right? Taking even rounds, maybe not points, but rounds from bigger teams, then I think the other teams are going to play with more respect. They're going to be more wary, whereas if they think you're going to be a pushover, it's just a completely different mindset to play in. It just becomes easier mentally. So Vortex, they're definitely even fighting for just 1 round here, but the question is W going to give it to them? So far, they didn't look like they were willing to do that.
Didn't look like that indeed, but W coming in with triple E50M, double BZ, an Object 140, and an STRV. Vortex, kind of similar as well, triple BZ, a CS, double E50M, and an UDES 1516. So no light tanks for either team, just small differences.
Yeah, small differences. I mean, the 140 being traded for the UDES here, both of them very good tanks in their own right. Squeezy with the STRB is kind of the biggest difference maker here. as he's going to be a more stationary fire support tank, whereas the rest of his team pretty mobile until the BZs, of course, run out of boosts. Ilias and Adi trying to destroy some initial rubble, as Flappy is going to make his way towards the information tower. Clerf now getting spotted in that BZ-75, immediately popping the next booster here, trying to get towards the cap. Doesn't take any damage so far.
They're going to be met by a triple BZ immediately from Vortex, though Miku taking the damage on the crossing, minus 1.5. They see Klur, Frugo's covering, though Itox is covering as well. A strike being taken already from the side of W. But actually, Itox does get reset by Flappy. Very important reset there on towards that E50M. Adi and Ilias now coming in as well, trying to make a difference. And IOS, in the meantime, will pressure out this singular CS63 of Tankistador. And Itox having a good time there against Adi. Mental's coming in with a cheeky peek as well. More shots coming across from Frugo on towards that E50M position of Adi, who seems to be in a lot of trouble, just slowly but surely taking chip damage. Flappy now getting pressured by Nepal as well, and he's running away with a dude that's 15-16, who struggles to get over the rock, taking more damage. Tankistador getting pushed out. Ios now shooting from behind. The cap is still on, but the damage is done as Flappy is the first one in the ground in the Udas 15-16, and Vortex now trying to push off the cap, but they have nothing left already. The damage has been dealt and the kills are being made as Glorf picks up Like, and this is going to be Vortex in the grave in their first match day in OLS Season 4, and a decisive victory for W with a 3-0 scoreline.
Absolutely, W fully in control, still 7 tanks alive, none of them even close to dying, every single one of them still above 1k HP. This is an absolute demonstration of power from the reigning OLS champions. Ios there trying to find the shots against Tankistador, but that one doing a good job of farming hold down against the E50M. Finally, he's going to pick it up though, and W with 12,679 HP are going to reduce Vortex to Rubbles. 3-0 clean sweep. The reigning champions not missing a beat.
A tough game if you're Vortex. Similar idea as W. However, W has better angles, better positions, and also the fact that the K9 will always lose for Vortex is pretty bad. You have CS facing off against C50M, so they're always giving that up. Once you give that up, Flappy's position already becomes exposed, and they also lost a crown, which is where the 140 is, the above area. So you really end up with that balcony where Flappy is just exploding for free without anything to say about it, while your BZs on the cap are also just slowly dying.
And the thing is as well, like the BZs were hesitating for quite some time to make an engagement at the cap, which is understandable because they just don't have the damage potential once again to just blow up enemy tanks. And in the meanwhile, I mean, they're facing BZs as well, together with the support from also the STRV that W had posted in the crown. And if you push into that one, well, even a BZ starts melting rather quickly. This way, though, Itox this time is going to claim top damage for his team, and the damage spread is okay. A Clerf a little bit on the low end, but I don't think he's really going to mind. So overall, W with an extremely solid performance. I don't think we saw anything exceptional from them today, but that was maybe also because they didn't need to show anything exceptional.
At the same time, though, in the past they have struggled with worse teams and closing it out properly. So the fact that they come in here and beating them 3-0 is, I think, the ideal start for them.
Yeah, Moff is probably going to be very happy after getting his prediction correct, so congratulations towards him. And after some replays, we'll be back with match number 3. Take it away.
Frau Enkel, allow me to introduce you to the culmination of our engineering, Götterfaust.
Beautiful. I want to see it kill.
Fine. Watch. Control, this is Blastwoods. I've got their toy.
William, be careful. More tanks incoming.
You build it, I break it. They want a monster? Let's give them a nightmare.
That was just one battle. If you want to keep that tank, you'll have to fight through the rest.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to match 3 of the day, and we have an interesting one on our hands, Ducky. It's going to be Kirillo against Weekend.
Two new teams, right?
Two new teams, yeah.
With some familiar faces.
Absolutely. So some of the players that left Cashback joined teams that now find themselves in the OLS. Kirillo against Weekend. Kirillo, some pretty dominant performances to get into OLS, but, you know, OLS is now where the best teams are, so let's see how they're going to stack up. We can see Milo here with his shirt from WCI, probably going to be one of the most experienced players in the lineup. But that being said, some of them have made past appearances in tournaments as well. Those guys on the screen right now definitely know how to hold mouse and keyboard.
For sure. And, you know, they have Dopa Deepa, remembering him from some pretty solid EBR plays as well. So across the board, pretty strong players that should be able to put up a fight at the very least, especially versus their very first opponent, Weekend, which is also a team that has some experience in it as well, right? You have Iset, for example, ex-Cashback, I think Hellrap as well, and then they have some Darkside players coming in there. So, you know, especially Iset, a lot of experience.
Yeah, let's see. 1.3 KD. I seem to remember that number from a different player before. A little bit less average damage than 3.2k. Pen rate pretty good though, 89%. And yeah, so far playing mostly high alpha tanks. Bluskavitsa, T124, and BZ75. So,
nonetheless, community predictions are very, very favored for Weekend. 79% believing in this Weekend team to come out ahead. If you look at the players on it as well and the experience, you could say that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fair, also considering the performances during the OLC number 4, where Weekend had a pretty okay run, I would have to say. But first of all, let's talk about the maps. And we are not going to see, for sure, Pilsen and Cliff, as those are banned out immediately. Kirillo, though, they want to start on Himelsdorf. Quite the interesting choice. I still feel like Himelsdorf hasn't been completely explored by teams as of yet. Ghost Town, our map number 2. We saw it already today, but I think here as well, the possibilities with all the rebalancing during 2.0 are going to be, well, not endless, but the stage is wide open, and if we need a decider, which is possible between both of those teams, in my humble opinion, it's going to be Ensk.
It's an interesting pool, to be honest. Himmels, yeah, not fully explored. There's just a lot of different possibilities on it. Now the question is if we'll see a lot of Type 5s on Himmels or not, if it's E4s, if it's E50Ms. And across the board, you know, we are also believing in Weekend to take it. You're going actually for a tiebreaker key.
Yeah, let's see. I think Kirillo, during their qualification for OLS Season 4, they were kind of a dark horse because their OCS Season 3 actually didn't go too well. I spoke with some of the players after why they looked so good in the qualifications then, and they basically said, yeah, we just played the OCS, so we definitely would have a spot in the qualifications, and that's where we actually started playing. Now, taking that at face value is obviously always a problem, because, well, the players might just be, you know, overstating it a little bit, the performances, but I still think that Kirillo definitely has it in them to take it to the distance against Weekend at the very least. But of course, it's a best of 5. Anything can happen. 3-1 is also possible. Let's take a look at the lineups first of all, though. Kirillo coming in with double Type 5, 1 E50M, double Foch B, T124, and an RHM on Himelsdorf. Kirillo are cooking.
Weekend in return, triple BZ, an IS-7, a 140, and double Bliska. We've seen it a few times, I think, from the likes of Cashback to play with a light. It does generate very good info on what's going towards the hill, for example, in the beginning. So you can play off of that. However, you can also lose control pretty quickly with it.
Well, let's see. The crazy thing for me is that even though we can't have double Bliska, I think they're still lacking DPM. We'll have to wait and see. Also, the Bliska against the Type 5, not sure how well they're going to be able to penetrate the Japanese box. That is driving in towards the middle of the map right now with Love also with the Type 5 driving towards the middle. And Weekend have a completely different plan. They're sending 3 tanks immediately towards the cap, immediately want to build the pressure. Dopa on the hill is going to take the information tower, as I said, and Kano, both of them are going to take the artillery strikes. That means Kirillo needs to decap sooner rather than later.
I mean, they're going to have to push on Loop almost immediately. The RHM might actually get a reset from the hill. Dopadipa is looking through that window at Evil. Can he find the shot, or is Loop going to be able to do it? 4 seconds left. If Evil goes back, then the RHM might be having the angle. Loop now pulling around the corner. The reset is there on Evil and HE, but in HE, that is going to be expensive in return. Already Chano are getting in as well. Loop with the Type 5 just up front battling it out because the resets, they need to keep coming. Finally, a secondary reset comes out. But what price has been paid? An entire Type 5 heavy. That is not something that you want to have happen if you're Kirillo, because game number 1 is in firm control of Weekend at this moment in time.
Yeah, both of the Foch Bs, or at least one of the Foch Bs by Kirillo as well, battered, bruised. Those are HP that you're not going to get back. 10 seconds once again on the cap. Will the other Type 5 be able to provide a reset here? Kano with the 140 is going to be able to side scrape against the Foch Bs, as well as going to inspire all of his team. Trash Panda as well coming in with the BZ-75. He does not get the timing on towards Beast to shut him down, but the 140 is still able to fire freely, and Flash now finding Iset. That is 2 tanks with crazy DPM fighting it out, but still through all of that, the cap is ongoing. It has been the issue from the start, and it will be the issue at the end for the team of Kirillo. We can take a convincing game number 1 on Himelsdorf.
Having an RHM is really cool and all until there's 3 guys in the cap after the first 30 seconds and you have to sacrifice an entire Type 5 heavy to even reset that and lose the game in result. So really good counterplay from Weekend. They didn't know it, but it was perfect for what Kirillo was doing.
Absolutely. I think this is one of the games where it's just one strategy kind of beating the other. Of course, you still need to execute it, but I think Weekend just put themselves in a very, very good scenario just by having the better opening. And I said here, recently switched over towards Weekend, starting to deal the damage here, top of the board, almost 5k in the Bliska. And in such a short game where not everyone dies, 5k is actually a gigantic score, whereas Language didn't even get to fire his gun, just took some hits, but, well, it didn't matter at the end of the day because his team won here, and we can see Lup paying the ultimate price only with some HE splash damage. It was needed, yes, but his team needed a lot more from all of the players on his team.
Really good round from Weekend. It's a counterplay without being intended to be a counterplay, you know?
Yep.
So for them, strong start, exactly what they need as well. And I mean, they're looking like a team that could be very strong when you look at the players on it as well, if they all gel together, work together, they could definitely put up some sort of a fight for those top positions. Because let's be real, Cashback is not an uncontested team anymore. Neither is really anybody from that top 4 except for like W, who's a back-to-back winner. We've seen all of them, even W, struggle throughout regular season for those positions. Now, if there's a position 5 and a position 6 that are actually like fighting for those top 4s, it's going to be a tough season for everybody, actually. Very tough for everybody. Ideally, everybody's super close, within like 3 to 5 points of each other. And then we're going to really see some potential surprises at the end of the first phase.
Yeah, I think so as well. This season, I think most of the teams in the OLS are closer together than they have ever been before. So in regards to suspense, I expect it to be pretty close. Of course, it still could go like any kind of different way. There is that possibility as well. But I think we have the chance of having a pretty close regular season in Phase 1 and Phase 2 both, where we have the cutoffs coming then in, where some teams are going to get knocked out. So it's going to be hopefully filled with suspense for the entirety of Season 4. That being said, though, I think we're just about ready to hop into round number 2 on Himelsdorf. Kirillo switching it up a little bit, still unwilling to ditch the Foch Bs, though 3 of them together with 3 BZ75s and the 140.
In return, Weekend Triple BZ 140 of their own 430U and double Bliska. It's still so weird in this day and age, Gihan, to see 140s.
I think we're going to get accustomed to it, because so far I think the 140 has been picked basically in every round. So the buffs definitely helping that OG tank out. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, you know, it feels like it doesn't fit in, but it fits in perfectly. Again, Weekend orientating themselves towards 1-2 line. So is Kirillo, though. And Kirillo has a lineup honestly pretty good for fighting, especially those Foch Bs are going to be very tough to dig through for the Weekend lineup. But yeah, if they spot it out on time, maybe they can hold, and maybe they can disengage for a second. They spot they spot all 3 Foch Bs, Sunshine, Evil, and Clownsick. I think they realized, and they don't really want to go for it anymore.
No, they kind of stop here together with that 430U. That's a lot of tanks that might be in crossfire. First of all, Loop, though, taking a lot of damage. The ability activation a little bit late for my taste, but Dopa coming from the back now is going to open up on one of those BZs, namely Sunshine. Maybe Milo will be able to put in some hurt as well. Templeton, the other Foch coming in too. And now the full power of these French auto-loading tank destroyers is on full display, as one of the tanks of Weekend has already fallen. They respond with the kill on towards 1, make that 2 Fochs though.
Yeah, those Foch Bs are not making that much of an explosion as you would have imagined. They found Sunshine, but that's only 1 BZ. Evil surviving an extremely long amount of time in that 430U. Love now gonna fall as well. The Bliskas now are showing up with their own potential bursting force, that double DPM TD. It's a 4-on-5, but it's a 4-on-5 in favor of Weekend. Dopa Dipa did come off of reloaders, coming back in. Trash Panda and Clownsick are potential targets for him. He finds the first, now he needs to transition onto the second. He's not able to do so. Trash Panda is going to put him in the grave as well as lining up the shot. Can he find it? No. Seems to be a wreck in the way. Dopa Dipa now fully out of steam, though. I said yet again seems to be doing pretty good for his team. Hellrap finds one, another 140 coming in, but he's making sure to get the other 140 out of the game first. Flash is not able to jump out whatsoever, getting chased down. Hellrap finding a kill as well, and it's still Weekend who win this fight. And if we look at it though, when we look at just purely the tanks, it's not really something that should have been possible.
Not really, no. I think the Foch Bs, some of them with the late activation on the ability, that just meant that the Foch Bs, after doing their clip, completely dying out. I think from the 3 Foch Bs, only 2 of them, or only 1 maybe even, got to do a second clip. And yeah, if you do 1 clip, it's all fine and good, but you really want to dip into that second clip to have a big impact if you're a Foch B. So I think that was the first problem. The second problem as well was that there were some very, very low HP tanks on the team of Weekend that still were able to have an impact, because Kirillo wasn't able to just entirely take them out of the game. They were left on, like, let's say 100 or 500 HP. So, yeah, the finishing shot just not coming in here. Weekend, I think, individually turning this game around here against Kirillo that looked like they were having a good opening.
Those bottom two Force Bees, not nearly enough. Not nearly. 5-3, 6-5, but they're not surviving for their second clip. That's where the Force Bee thrives.
Exactly, and here, yeah, Dopa the only Force Bee to do, well, first of all, perfect clips, but second of all, he did go into the second clip as well. And yeah, I mean, for Weekend, it was perfect. Like, their damage sponges, the BZs got engaged by the Force Bees, and then the DPM tanks were able to do what they do best, which is, well, shoot at the enemy.
Yeah, the Blitzcaster did great. I said is having a good time so far, Kihan. 5k average, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good job for him. Maybe switching teams working out for him, but this also means that Kirillo is unable to pick up any rounds on their own map pick, just like Mafia, actually. And now we're going to go to Weekend's map pick, which is Ghost Town. Let's see what we're going to get shown by both teams, but currently Kirillo not really living up to the hype.
No, so far it doesn't seem to be the case. This second round was one where I think they should have the advantage, especially because, you know, like those Forge Bees coming in should just be able to win out, and they weren't able to do that. And that's worrying, Key, because they had the lineup to just straight up win that game in the fight.
Yeah, as I said, I think it was just individual player skill that carried Weekend in the past game. And if that's the case, it becomes very concerning for the opposing team, because like lineup issues, tactical problems. If the other team just has the better openings, that is something you can fix. But player skill, it's hard to increase just, you know, with the snap of a finger.
Sure. We could rig their RNG.
Mm-hmm. Or they could just play better.
Wow. Kihan, day one throwing shots at the teams already?
Always.
I haven't seen your ass in Onslaught yet, Kihan. Huh?
That's because I'm still in qualification. But I carried my 2 games that I did yesterday.
Wow. Bronze qualifications are not the hardest thing in the world.
All right, you're throwing shots as well. I see how it is. But first of all, Kirillo fighting against the match point here from Weekend, and they're trying to do that with a light tank. RHM, double E4, make that a singular one as loop switches over. Never mind, double E4 once again, double E50M, Centurion, and an I7.
In return, Weekend is also bringing their own Centurion, an E4, an EBR, an RHM, Type 5, an I7, and a BZ. Just the 1 light versus the 2 lights face off. Kirillo have 1, Weekend has 2. We have to see how potent the CBR will be, of course.
Well, we already saw the double light win once today, but that was against 0 lights, so let's see how it fares against 1. Of course, if you take double light tanks, you sacrifice firepower and survivability for the possibility of gaining a lot of information early, to get map control, to get those angles, and especially from the outside, those angles on Ghost Town can really be a pain for the opposing team if you manage to secure all of it. I said is going to take the first artillery strike of the game. Nothing really to contest him here, as Beast takes a lot of map control away from Trash Panda in that RHM, because realistically, what's that RHM supposed to do against an IS-7 that's marching his way? Well, the answer is nothing. Kirillo, though, responding. They're taking 2 artillery strikes currently. The one below the cap that is now getting contested by Clownzik. Oh, the HE, the first one of the season.
Ay, that hurts. That really hurts. That's the power of the Type 5 right there. Takes about half of Dopadipa's HP away. And we talked about it. The greedy Type 5 players are going to do this quite often. And they're going to be these lightly armored tanks are the ones that suffer the most. The AXs, the CSs, the EBRs, RHMs, anything with some weak armor will be in trouble. Kano and the IS-7 getting spotted out. On that balcony, Loop crossing over, takes one from Clownzik, but it's an acceptable price.
It is indeed an acceptable price, but then again, what are they driving into? It would be a hold down IS-7 if Sunshine decides to hold the frontier, which is, I think, exactly what he's doing. But the 50Ms are not doing that. Instead, they say, like, all right, Type 5, time to see what you do against heat from the meat.
Yeah, and he has double E4 peeking him as well in that Type 5. So Clownzik starting to drop, and there was a big HP lead for Weekend after that initial engagement. But now, with the Type 5 in trouble, Milo and Love are taking a big shot there from that RT strike, and Love taking some more. I think he even whiffed the shot on the back of Clownzik. That is...
Yeah, he bounced the shot on towards the Type 5. He gets shut down by Evil, as now Sunshine here
alive.
holding the front, being hold down. Yeah, the Type 5 still alive. That is absolutely crazy. And he manages even, I think, to pick up Loop here before dying, and now the repush on the A-line is in full effect as Sunshine rams into Templeton, who goes down towards one-shot Trash Panda to finish it up, and all of a sudden Weekend with 6 tanks against the mere 4 of Carrillo.
Yeah, it's over. They took so long to kill that Type 5. Like, okay, maybe not fully over, because I said it's gonna die against Beast, but Beast takes a shot from the E4 from that, and it's still double the HP for Weekend though, nonetheless, so it's not looking that great either. Milo is now in trouble in his E4 because his ability is running out, and he's dead. On top of it, it's an unfortunate timing for him, and Carrillo have nothing to go off. I thought the Type 5 play was pretty good, but then they just didn't manage to kill him.
No, I think the E4 driving around the corner, missing his shot, and then just dying for free. That was definitely a problem. And yeah, still the Carrillo tanks are fighting here, but probably not for long, because Trash Panda is able to pick up Beast in the IS-7. Now the Centurion, the soft underbelly of the lineup, gets found here. And after that, it's only going to be the RHM. So Weekend here, not missing a beat either. It's going to be a quick 3-0 here, and a lot of questions towards Carrillo's way here, because, well, especially the second round on Himelsdorf was concerning.
This was also concerning, to be honest, because they made a really good play onto the Type 5, and then the Type 5 just lives forever. Forever young, apparently, in that Type 5. I'm curious how much blocking he actually has as well out of this, because it was
I mean, definitely 750 from the E4, and then some probably. But yeah, we should be able to check it very, very soon. Overall, I think a match that Carrillo, maybe sooner rather than later, will want to forget. Because, well, I mean, the first round, realistically, you're like, GG, go next. It was, you know, just lineup and opening issue. But the rest, there were possibilities, there were openings, and yeah, Clownzik essentially effectively doubling his HP here by blocking 4.6k, and some of that bounce damage with a little bit better aim from the opposing team, maybe waiting a little until the aim circle shrinks. That could have been avoided.
Yeah, well, the Z50Ms were missing a lot as well. I think if they kill the Type 5 quicker, like bounce like half of what they do, then the E4s can cover the A-line push as well. The 50Ms can focus more on the A-line push. They lose less HP. One of them doesn't die. A different game altogether.
I mean, the fact, first of all, that they lose an E50M
to this Type 5.
Kill the Type 5, that is horrendous. And an E4 as well, right?
That E4, he's just like you. He's a qualifier player. That was a qualifier play if I've ever seen it. I've seen a lot of those yesterday. You know, it's just unexplainable things.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just think that you have an opening in front of you, and you take...
Bro, that is the equivalent of there's no keeper in the goal, and you manage to kick the ball half the stadium over.
So motivation does a lot of things to a lot of people. But yeah, Carrillo now with the second 0-3 defeat, so at least the good news for them is that they are going to be in shared last place together with Vortex. but I think that's not too much of a silver lining.
The good news is Kian might actually make his bedtime tonight. But what was it, 9:30?
Yeah, 9:30 is already late, you know, so...
Got it.
Let's see. I also have to get home from the office, you know. But yeah, that was match number 3, Kirillo against Weekend. But of course, there are 2 more teams waiting to show what they've got. So we'll be back with the last match of the first day of the AMD OLS Season 4. See you then.
The Onslaught Legends series Season 4 is here. But Liberty finds Jockey, and Ketsai, the last one for his team, will not be able to pull the 1v3.
Onslaught Legends series champions will be Cashback.
They do complete the Cinderella story.
Finds Akka and it's Twilight and Liberty left wondering because it's not going to be the Ukrainian team of Cashback. It's going to be W from the pits of hell coming through the lower bracket.
Akka blows up as well, and W completed 6-3 2 times in a row. OLS champion. I think Mafia are on victory street here on Himelsdorf. They completely rewrite the map and rewrite all of the scripts that everyone had. It's going to be them taking the finals in a 5-1 fashion.
Tune in to the action, September 30th through November 9th.
The AMD Onslaught Legends series Season 4 has arrived. And with it comes the chance to reward the players and yourself too. Boost the prize pool by purchasing team bundles. If the team you rooted for with a bundle wins, so do you by being able to upgrade the included style to a shiny golden version.
Contribute now.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to the last match of the day. This break, so quick, I barely had any time to have a sip from my Onslaught mug here, which, by the way, should still be available in the World of Tanks merch store. Now, though, we are going to
3 seasons, 3 seasons, and he hasn't sent me a mug yet. Unbelievable. It's crazy.
We do have a matchup upcoming, though. It's going to be Hit, the team that claimed the last spot for WCI in the last spot match, basically, against the team of Yogurt. Here we can see the team under the captain, a Monster. But, Darky, there is a player edition, and that is someone I have not heard about in a long time. Decha is making his reappearance.
It's like, you know, they were looking on the retirement bench for players. They didn't find anybody, and they were like, oh, it's fine, let's look in the home instead. And then they found Decha. And apparently he's playing well, though, you know, so Grandpa still got it in him, Kian. There's still hope for you as well.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I think all is lost with me joining an OLS team. But yeah, when I join an OLS team, you know it's Jover.
Yeah. No, but Decha, you know, an old player, very, very good at the game, hasn't played competitive for a while, but they said he's playing very well now. He might play. I talked to Ketsa yesterday. He said he might play during the season, but he'll probably end up playing in China for sure. So
that's going to be interesting. And then the other addition on the team of Hit is someone we alluded to earlier. It's someone that has left Cashback. It is the Barbarian. Absolute monster of a player himself, and also pretty good when it comes to calling.
Yeah, he's a pretty potent player for the side of Hit and Run to have. Yeah, leaving Cashback after their disappointing form, decided to go back to Hit and Run. He knows those players very well, so should have no issues mixing himself amongst them yet again. Then Sun River first ban, Ghost on the second, gives us Ensk as first one.
Yeah, and Ensk indeed, an interesting map. In Season 1, if we think all the way back to a year ago, Cashback, under Barbarian's leadership, they seemed almost unbeatable on Ensk, but since then falling off. So let's see if we have the resurgence here, because Hit didn't mind picking it throughout all 3 seasons. And then Yogurt, I guess, trying to surprise, because we've been talking a lot about Hit, because there was a lot to talk about, but Yogurt, they're always this quiet, but never gone team in like 5th, 6th place, but maybe they're aiming to punch higher this time.
Could be the case, but, you know, it all starts early on. Hit and Run, however, Kian, is a team that likes to lose a little bit in the beginning, no? A few seasons in a row, they got upset by Dark Side in the beginning, so you know, maybe there's potential here for Yogurt.
Yeah, I mean, Morovanka being the tiebreaker as well, but yes, indeed, it feels like Hit is one of those tournament teams that improve throughout the events, which is a possibility for the team of Yogurt, but of course, we talked about it. Hit is one of, if not the most proven team here currently in the competition. And we're all paying due respect to that. 3-1 across the board. I think this is the first time that all of us agree.
Yeah, I think we all give them...
Like on the actual score as well.
Yeah, the intern says 3-0 though.
Well, maybe that's the reason why for those of you that do not know, we're talking, of course, about Got You Baby, the MVP of last season. That's currently working with
in the dungeons, the basement.
Yeah, exactly. We're keeping him locked there so he can improve his DPGs even more. Crazy player, that one. But yeah, let's see if Yogurt will be able to fend off against the onslaught of the Type 5s by Hit and Run. 3 of those in the lineup, together with a 140, a Fosh B, and double E4.
In return, triple Type 5 heavy for Hit and Run. A 140, a Fosh B, and double E4. So in terms of hit points, Kihan, we might see a slight deficit here for Yogurt. And with slight, I mean quite a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Yogurt with that 430U, yes, it has a lot of DPM, but the Type 5s, they do have a lot of HP, and now with the buffed frontal armor, you cannot even be sure at range to really hit those weak spots anymore on the Type 5, so let's see how this one goes. The E4 is trying to aim down the rails, no connections as of yet. Ketsai there, taking one to the tracks immediately, burning through the rep kit, but of course with the Onslaught modifiers, he's going to have that one back pretty quickly. So far, finally, some damage being done. 2 shots in towards the team of Hit. Meanwhile, Shelby taking one of his own as well. And Rachmedik in the IS-4 making his way towards the artillery strike. He's going to pick up that one very uncontested.
So, not bad from Yogurt starting-wise. You know, like, I mean, they might be down HP, but they're taking some objectives. As in the ID strike, which is always a useful thing to have, and yeah, that's the E4 power though. You know, Type 5 is a great tank now, to be honest, but 375 APCR does not care how great you are.
Exactly. Meanwhile, though, talking about objectives, both teams are now going to have an RD strike because both of them used the information tower as well, and this enables Franek and Barbarian to make a move here in the city. Barbarian getting spotted out for that one, though, as one of the E4s by Yogurt takes a bit of a beating. I think that was Invo Real. And LeVay also taking big hits in that 140 for the cross, minus 1.5 Ks. That was 2 750 Alpha guns connecting, though Yogurt looking to pounce here on towards the Type 5s. How quickly are they going to smash through those Japanese heavy tanks is the question.
YOLO, Ramendik and Aphrodite arriving. The second monster are pulling back to pops the ability in the Forge B. And that is kind of a wasted ability because no damage received, no damage dealt either. Hit and run, just pull back with the Type 5s just on time into a safe position. And now, bigger problem here for Yogurt is this Scab that's starting to spiral out of control. With 15 seconds left and 3 tanks on it, they splitting up as well. Panther Fury, Franek and Barbarian making sure to cover their respective positions, but far away from one another. 4 seconds left, the strike comes in, resets one, which is Panzer Fury. He's gonna peek out already to try and do some damage. Shelby coming in now as well. Panzer Fury does hit that shot. Franek taking one as well, but it's 6,000 HP difference at this point, and Yogurt being pushed back once more. Liquor there in the E4, getting some good cross shots though. So Hit and Run has to be careful not to overextend. T-Sec with not the greatest of peaks either in that Type 5 heavy. Ramendik not connecting either. Love now coming towards the south, and again, now down to a 2,000 HP deficit only. Hit and Run there, making a little bit of a mistake, giving Yogurt potentially a way back in.
Yeah, LeVay now trying to take the information tower. Does get spotted out for the play though, so opts out of it for now. Invo needs to be very careful with his E4 down towards the one shot, as Liquor potentially getting caught here by the Foch B. Opts not to use the ability because of course the track health would go down so far that Barbarian could double track him, and it seems like Barbarian might have overextended, as Aphrodite though in the Foch B completely gets blown up, doesn't even get to the healing part of his ability. LeVay literally on 1 HP now, and there are no strikes available for the team of Hit, but maybe that is not even going to be the issue, as Franek might have overextended too, getting pushed on by YOLO and Liquor, who take shots from the side. Monster falling as well in the Type 5. Yogurt are very far behind when it comes to the HP, but they're still able to convert and keep the guns even.
Yeah, the biggest issue there is that that Foch B swinging. Aphrodite, like coming in, swings wide to try and clip. It forgets that he needs to get to the healing part to survive. Isn't able to do that whatsoever, and then ends up just exploding before the teammates survive. DJ and Ramendik in a 1v1. LeVay finds a kill though on 1 HP. Still, double HP for Hit and Run. It's 5k versus 1.7. All these players from Yogurt now on a slither of health altogether. Shelby now down towards a one shot as well. Barbarian coming in with the Foch B, and finally the guns start falling, and Yogurt will lose battle number 1. But it's down to the details here to why they actually ended up losing.
Yeah, indeed. One by one, the dominoes start falling for the team of Yogurt here, as T-Sec is going to shut down Rachmedik and LeVay. He really did a great job trying to stay alive on 1 HP, but at the end of the day, I think the experience and the details make all the difference. Hit and Run claim the first point, but Yogurt, they did not make it easy.
No, I think it comes down to a bunch of mistakes from both teams before that, right? But I think the one that really swung the game there is the moment where the Forge B swings wide with ability and kind of forgets that he needs to like start healing and Barbarian is not reloading. If he plays it a little wiser, Barbarian just uses healing ability as well and waits for his two teammates and they repressure Nord. That could have gone different. But then again, before that, hit and run, playing that cap, but making peaks, speaking out, pressuring forward, losing a lot of HP for that when the strike was already used to reset.
Yeah. Overall, I think Hit with the slight advantage when it comes to maturity of plays. Overall, I think, the Forge B with unfortunate timings when it came to activating the ability, but the thing as well as we saw, not the peak that you were talking about, but instead the peak on the other side of the rails where he was trying to engage the Type 5s. He preemptively activated the ability and the Type 5s were like, all right, good luck penning us. We're just going to hold our shots for the other tanks to peak. So Hit there with very good reactions and keeping the shells, because sometimes with those healing abilities, it can actually be better to hold the shot and speculate for different damage onto other tanks.
Well, that was a very potent first round between these two. Looking forward to see more what comes out of this, because so far it looks like Yogurt is not here to get overrun. They're here to fight it out, and hit and run, well, they're hit and run.
Indeed, not a lot needs to be said about the lineup here. That is, I think, in the circle of contenders for maybe winning OLS. I think the circle of contenders for me right now is, of course, W. Hit could take it. And then, Mafia are European first seed for China, but we don't know how seriously, for example, W took the finals of the OLC4 after they qualified already. It's kind of difficult to say this early on, but the question here is, how well are Yogurt going to stand up? Because for them, it was like they were always able to like beat the lower teams, but when it came to getting victories against teams that were considered like top 3, top 4, that is where they struggled. And once again, I think Hit is one of those teams that you could consider to be top 3, top 4.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, but then again, it also depends on how close all the other teams are, though. To really confidently say this, Yogurt, that's an SRV on Ensk. Now that's interesting.
They switched away.
I wish he would have stayed. There is some strats with SRVs, hard to execute though, but it does exist.
Let's see. I think Yogurt are finally starting to settle on their lineup here. One IS4, the Batchat, double Forge B, the 268B4, and the double E4.
In return, double type, CS63, Forge B, and triple E4. CS63, one of the less played mediums on Ensk though, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's just too squishy.
It doesn't have anything like that makes it special, you know?
Yeah, it's fast. All right, I'll give it that. But you could play Batchat as well as... Well, Monster and LeVay spot out each other, but LeVay gets a lot more information on towards the E4s as well. The fence did not get destroyed, though, so no punishment. But a lot of information gained still on the Yogurt side here, whereas Hit and Run still playing a little bit blind. They saw the one Batchat, and that was kind of it. I think they also saw the IS-4, but that doesn't reveal too much. And Invo in the Forge B is going to take the artillery strike immediately. They know they can do it just because they saw so much from the Hit lineup, where Franek is the first one to take a shot in his E4.
DJ now taking one as well, though. And so far for Yogurt, again, pretty decent start. Get the info, get the artillery strike. Get some damage out as well across the board. Shelby taking some by the E4s. Needs to be really careful because that's 3 of them looking and waiting. And he takes another one from DJ. So very good shooting from Hit and Run. Finding a double connection against that IS-4. Putting him a bit lower. And now, how do either teams approach this? This Type 5 of Ketsai. You see where he is. Of course, there's a little window there, which is mainly blocked off by rubble. However, there is the potential to shoot above that rubble pile inside of the window.
Well, Monster, first of all, talking about squishy tanks, takes a big hit, I think, by one of the E4s in the city. Keep in mind, Ensk, not the largest map, as this is not the region. This is the old school Ensk from back in the day when it was still playable for tier 10s as well. So you can kind of hit across the map. You need to be aware of those angles. And so far, I mean, both teams kind of making the opponents bleed a little bit. Just as I say that though, Liquor taking a lot of damage in his E4, taking a little bit more even, needs to start being careful here as Invo and YOLO, both of them starting to open up in those Fosh Bs. Barbarian seems to be caught out in the Fosh B of his own, but is starting to heal up, even survives the strike, and that is 100 plus HP per tick. That was too close for comfort, but he makes it out on 1400.
It goes down to like 20 HP at its lowest point and heals back for, I think, a grand total of 1800 HP because he did get striked as well. So that's a crazy heal. Now these Type 5s marching down the rails, being annoying. Another strike being taken on the side of Yogurt and an information point as well. But neither team too far ahead. And T-Sec, that second rail, as we would call it, is one where you're not fully safe. He needs to be careful. There are angles that shoot below this. So he cannot confidently sit there for too long. But now Hit and Run is playing the cap game again, trying to force a reaction.
And indeed, it seems like Yogurt are happy to oblige. We see a little hit squad in the city, but how quickly can an E4, a V4, and a Batchat blow up a Type 5 heavy tank while the base capture is still ongoing? Invo, though, taking an E4 shot to the face. That's HP that he's not going to get back, as the ability wasn't active. Liquor now starting to peek in the E4. Does not see a whole lot here, though. Instead gets slapped into his face, down towards a one-shot himself.
Yeah, now Shelby being pushed forward in the IS-4. He's bleeding down to 1,000, getting striked as well, down to 603 for that. And now what does Yogurt do? Hit and Run switched up in this battle from, you know, more aggressive to just the waiting game, the long con. And now Love wants to sneak across, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that in the Batcha. There's a Type 5 very close. You can see the great camo from the Batcha. They're working out immediately. Love getting tapped though. YOLO pops the ability. Peeking the rails. Minus 2.2, but that's a Force B. We've seen Barbarian heal a lot. Maybe something similar can happen here for YOLO, and that's a lot of HP ticking up. Invo with the heal as well, but not quickly enough as he falls to Barbarian, who's coming back on towards that sword, and YOLO facing the music, but the only thing he's facing right now is Dead. And Dead says, thank you very much. I will take you to the underworld together with me. And Yogurt is minus 2 guns, but they did reset the cap.
They did reset the cap, but at what cost? Well, kind of everything, as Ketsai now gets pushed by Ramitik, but he even has the HP advantage, Ketsai that is, and the Type 5 is so tall that it doesn't care about the V4 armor. You can just overmatch from above. And now Franek here coming to help his buddy from his team. Rachmatik, one more shot, but that's probably going to be all she wrote for the Soviet tank destroyer. T-Sec falling now, the first tank finally for Hit and Run to go down, but probably not many more, as Hit and Run now on clean up duty, starting to swarm, starting to look for kill shots, and starting to look for the 2-0 on Himelsdorf.
Ensk.
Ensk, yeah.
It's also a city map. But yeah, this game, again, very controlled from Hit and Run. Patient, good. Barbarian there, that could have been a game-losing peak. I think surviving on 20 HP is luck, to be honest.
It is. I mean, if someone rolls differently, you're dead.
Yeah, so he got lucky to get away. He's lucky for 2 reasons. 1, because he survives on 20 HP, and 2, because the strike is late. If the strike comes in almost instantly, he doesn't heal. He doesn't heal on time, and he will die, and it will be Yogurt's game. But now, he survives on 20 HP, the strike comes in, and it's like, well, unlucky, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, skill is when, you know, luck becomes a habit, and I think that was exactly what Barbarian was doing there. But that was an absolutely crazy heal coming in from him. So let's see, Monster not with the biggest impact, at least damage-wise, in that CS63. Then again, not sure how much information he was able to gather. But yeah, crazy heal coming in from Barbarian, who does 2,420 total. So, yeah, that is damage that, you know, Yogurt did, but it ended up not mattering. And I think overall what we saw here, once again, on Ensk round 2, was that both teams, where it looked like they were evenly matched, but it felt like Hit just edging a little bit ahead every second that passes by, just looking for the better engagement, and when they see an opening, just striking.
I like the Type 5 position, though. It was very annoying for Yogurt to deal with that one. Got side there, and so healthy, so annoying, and controlling a large part of the game.
Well, this means that now Ensk is over, and Yogurt probably want to mentally reset a little bit, because Hit now on match point find themselves on this match point on the new edition, Siegfried Line. We saw it twice already, although not sure how much to take away from that already, because, yeah, in the end, I mean, W just looked better on Siegfried Line in their respective match. So now it's up to Yogurt, who picked this maybe wanting to surprise Hit a little bit, and to be honest, that is exactly what they need to do. It feels like if both teams play the long game, then Hit and Run just win out with the experience that they have.
Can Yogurt make a difference now, though? That is the big question. Can they pick up one round? Or is today going to be possibly one of the fastest days? I don't remember too many 3-0s in one match day.
No. I still remember the dreaded Tiebreaker Tuesday.
Tiebreaker Tuesday.
Where literally every single Tuesday, where every single match went to tiebreaker. And out of a possible 20 rounds, we had 20 in one evening. That was kind of crazy. Well, we already know that that is not going to happen today.
No, not the case whatsoever. Now, we're moving on to Siegfried Line here. We saw W played already. Slow and control. Something that Hit and Run could mimic.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, I'm not fully aware of which teams scrimmed against each other. That's always the question as well, right? Is it better if you trained against a team, or is it better if you didn't? Because if you did, you kind of know each other already. If you didn't, then it's going to be sort of like a black box what the other team is going to do. Especially now on the day one, right? You haven't really seen any team play public matches already. Let's see. Yogurt coming in, looking for their first point on the board here in Season 4. It's going to be an IS-4, a Mivi, a Type 5, a 140, WE4, and an RHM.
Hit and Run in return, double Type 5, a 140, a 430U, and triple E4. So light tech advantage from Yogurt. They're going to have to exploit this.
Let's see.
We saw W do that very well, though, from the other side. But, you know, they use that light tank. It's a good plane there from YOLO as well, spotting out 5 players.
Yeah, so he's going to have a replane available. The thing, though, is that the field is not so big here on the Onslaught Siegfried Line, so it's not possible to completely roam there with a light tank, but seems like YOLO doesn't need to. Instead, he's going for the artillery strike immediately as Barbarian takes a shot to the face, has to use the medkit as well to revive the commander, but YOLO walks away from this with an artillery strike of his own as well, as Franek on the other side is going to take an artillery strike for himself, and that is going to make it roughly even in the game as well, as LaVey in the 140 has taken a shot of damage on the Yogurt side.
But so far, neither team in too much trouble. How do you utilize the light properly, though, at this point? Like, let's talk. In a slower game, which we didn't have, we did have it between W and Vortex, but it wasn't really slower. You know what I mean? It was like the light died at some point, and then the game was kind of frozen. But in a game where all 7 players are alive, how do you properly utilize that RHM?
That is a very good question, because especially when you don't really have access to the info towers, as it is right now for both teams, they can't properly be sure that they are not going to take a lot of damage for taking them. Punishment, damagement, yeah. then the RHM needs to be extremely careful, especially in a game where a Type 5 now is a real possibility, and it only takes one to deal 1100 damage, as we saw earlier. So that's why I understand that currently YOLO in that RHM is holding on to his strike and not really wanting to make a play.
I mean, both teams, I think, are just going to accumulate strikes for a while, you know, not really utilizing them. Ooh, Pan's Fury there. Keep giving up a shot, but in return, the 140 hitting a shot against it, maybe as well. So A1, K1 contested. Yeah, that's sort of position that in random Onslaught, you really don't see that often, that A1, K1, but it is potent. I love the word potent, I don't know why. There's like a little bit of a dip there, you know, at A1, and it's just enough to play hold down from and be annoying.
Well, let's see. I mean, the game seems to be calming down a little bit, although Hit are kind of forcing the issue here with the Type 5 of, I think that's Monster in the cap. So, yeah, he's going to put a little bit of time pressure. Maybe he wants the amount of strikes on the Yogurt side to also not get out of control completely. Because I think Monster would be more than willing to take a strike here, as Love is now finally going to get the info tower for his team, uses it, full information available.
He can reset.
And yeah, Shelby resetting here, so the strike doesn't even need to be used. Good stuff coming in, and Monster thus forced off the angle here, and Rahmedek gets another shot for free. Not the best play by Monster.
Yeah, this cap, honestly, kind of garbage again. Like, what has it given them? It's given them minus 1,000 on Monster. And this is the downside of not having any lights, though. You can't contest that information tower at some point, right? And because of that, you know, I guess that's the advantage here Yogurt has. You know, they know there's no light tank, so they know that this radio tower is something that Hit and Run can't really deny. They can't really stop it. And because of the radio tower, Monster gets spotted out. They know where he's looking. Gets a shot from Shelby, goes forward, gets a shot from Rahmedek, and the cap ends up doing nothing.
Yeah, and this also means that Yogurt now find themselves in a 3,000 HP lead here against the, I would say, favored team of Hit and Run. But so far, so good, definitely, for the team in white. As, well, the RHM hasn't really done much, but to be honest, with a level 2 plane, he doesn't really need to do much. He just needs to, well, maybe he's already in plane mode, and he just has it aimed at the radio tower for whenever someone tries to make a move onto it. Looking at the abilities as well, there is a little bit of a discrepancy. 6 players from Yogurt have abilities with 2 or more charges. On Hit and Run, we have 1 level 2 and 1 level 1. That's it.
Hit and Run is now trying this cap again, but this time they're doing it better, I guess. They're controlling the angles, like Barbarian's watching the Type 5, Pan's Fury and T-Sec are watching the IS-4, trying the peak. So, why this wasn't possible the first time around, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, both teams are now sitting on 2 strikes as well, as Invo is going to capture 1. He resets Monster here with the Type, as YOLO gets a plane from this one, and now Rahmedek is going to peek. He took the shot from Barbarian and he took it willingly, but the second one, he probably didn't want to do that. He manages to get back a little bit as Cat's Eye starting to engage on towards LeVay, the 140 1-on-1, but LeVay has a lot less HP. Even the strike starting to help Cat's Eye here as well. The rubble hides what's happening, but Invo with the first kill of the game as Monster falls to the Wolves, and Cat's Eye actually bounces a shot. Good return by LeVay here, but he is probably going to be down and out rather soon. Another shot to help him, but LeVay bounces one as well, and it's going to be Cat's Eye to equalize the scoreline, as the battle has not slowed down because Yogurt have pulled the lever. They started to aggress in the city.
And they're now trying to push forward. Rahmedek there looking to go forward, but immediately getting pushed back by that 140. Barbarian now pushing forward himself in that E4, wants to go for the killer against Rahmedek. Of course, needs a little bit of luck. It's not going to happen. The RHM of YOLO in the south side will get a side turret shot against that E4, pick him up. It's now 1 gun advantage for the side of Yogurt. HP is even, the cap is on. Invo needs to be very, very careful on that Mafia. It will struggle tremendously against that E4, but he has help though of his own E4 behind Bates. Panther Fury around the corner, and that is pretty good. But Hit and Run still up in HP, but down in guns. But the main important part here is that a lot of that HP currently located on that RHM of YOLO with 2,900. He needs to get involved. He needs to get into the thick of it and find some help towards his teammates. DJ wanted to peek that, doesn't end up going for it because he is a one-shot. And now that RHM finally getting some shot against Ketchai. If I was Shelby, I think you would have said that he needed to peek already at this point against the E4, because now he's just gonna die against DJ coming around, picks him up, another gun down, 3 left standing for Yogurt, and the HP all of a sudden completely in favor of Hit and Run, guns as well, and it's just YOLO left in that RHM. That push play on towards that 140 swings this game around. Ketsai, supported by Double Strike, find the isolated pick and find the 3-0 for Hit and Run.
Absolutely. Hit and Run once again in this Mexican standoff here on Secret Line managed to edge out ahead. They were just feeling out the positions, and honestly it felt like Yogurt were getting the better end of the trades until they didn't, that is.
No, it was a really nice play on through that 140. Double Strike as well. Like, sure, they both bounced some shots, but at the same time though, it was a great opening. It was really good to see that. It was a good executed play. And an oversight from Yogurt not to be ready to cover the 140. They really didn't expect that.
Yeah, and so after 3 rounds, Hit also stands undefeated. That means 3 teams are 3-0 after today, and that also means that 3 teams are 0-3. But yeah, first of all, damage dealt here. Monster not having the best of games, but at the end of the day, when you have 6 other players that manage to carry a butt over the finish line, it doesn't really matter. And on the other end, we have Invo with an okay game in the MBY. I mean, he got to basically free farm on the side of Type 5 heavies, etc. But yeah, Yogurt, I think just tactically losing their nerve against Hit. Because in my opinion, they had the advantage at some point. They had HP advantage, light tank advantage, everything that you could want. And then I think they just got over-eager, namely, for example, on Rachmedik, who was peeking, taking too much damage, and then got re-engaged upon, which in turn opened up the push onto Love in the 140. So yeah, I think if there is one thing that Yogurt after this first day still needs to work a little bit upon, it is more mature decision making if the game takes longer. That leaves us with the standings of the day. Well, to be honest, a shared first place here for W Cashback and Hit and Run as well, all of them with the clean 3-0. Then a shared 4th place between Weekend and no shared 4th place. Actually, 4th place for Weekend, 5th place for Mafia, and Yogurt, Carillo, and Vortex down there at the bottom.
Play day 1 though. I think the takeaways are, Mafia is definitely better than the bottom 3 teams that we saw play, but it's only play day number 1. It's when we still need to see where everybody's gonna land, if there's gonna be some upsets. That was today on the 30th of September. We are back on Thursday with more Onslaught Legend series action. It's going to be, of course, the mid-season break is what we're going to have as well. But, it is early, Kihan. It is early. Was it the greatest of showing for the bottom 3 teams? No. Did they have time to improve? Yes.
Definitely. It was the first day of the first phase, so there is nothing to be decided yet. But I think in some teams already, maybe some alarm bells are going to start ringing. As we do have the drops once again for today. It's going to be 5 OLS tokens together with Onslaught rentals for the Object 277 and the Minotauro. Don't forget to visit the article on the website as well, where you're going to be able to have a 3rd Onslaught rental on top of the ones that you already get with the mode activating. And if you joined us later, then, of course, just like every other OLS stream, if you weren't able to finish off your drops yet, we are going to rate this beautiful man with the really nice haircut to my side. and he's going to have those same drops active. So yeah, feel free to maybe pick up a trick or two as well there, because I'm pretty sure you're going to be playing Onslaught as well, right?
How would you guess? How would you guess?
I mean, if you want to do Legend again on, like, I don't know how many, 3, 4 accounts, you need to start early.
I think
right?
I'm only going to do 2 champs and 1 legend. Probably.
2 champs.
But I probably got legend on an A as well, so that compensates for it.
All right, that all being said and done, thank you very much for watching. Thank you as well to the people behind the camera, the players for playing, and you, of course, for watching. Don't forget to contribute to the prize pool as well. Maybe this first playday was an indication of where you want to purchase your bundles to be able to get the upgrades for the styles and the badge. That being said, that was enough waffling from me. Thank you very much. See you all on Thursday.
This is the world's most advanced processor. In entertainment, its rendering speeds render other processors obsolete. Powers cloud services for billions. Helps change the course of climate change. And uses AI to accelerate disease detection and cures. We make the world's most advanced processors, but only with your vision can we advance the world. AMD. Together, we advance.